Galaxies experience.
And we are live yet again for the second day in a row. And joining us, we got Mark Schultz here, along with my fellow host, John Klinkle. Yep. Thanks for showing us the Galaga ship, Mark.
Hey.
Single ship record holder, world record holder.
Only one.
Yeah.
No
So that's why you don't have a dual thing. So that's
I
only
got the
appropriate.
one.
I only got the
Yeah.
one. So
Yeah.
so John, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Well,
Doing good.
Doing good, and it's going to be an interesting topic of conversation and all that stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and get us into chat mode here so that we can just get that ready for probably what's going to be a very controversial topic and all that. So,
Well, maybe not too terribly controversial.
no.
I guess it depends.
So
Yeah.
last night we had Armando Gonzalez on, and Armando, if you are tuning in, thank you very much for joining us. We hope to have you on again and all that. So looks like we have Jason Strawn on here, so that's absolutely awesome. I see that he just said
Hey.
hello. Jason Strawn, thank you for joining in and all that. We really appreciate it. Glad that you could join. So tonight's topic is picking up where John and I left off, in which myself, Armando, and John Klinkle, we were talking about Twin Galaxies, and basically, well, John, I'm going to let you take the charge on that.
Well, again, it depends on what we want to talk about and where we want to go with the conversation. But again, I think everybody knows what I think. I think that since they've decided to just ditch the leaderboard, basically, Twin Galaxies themselves, they just kind of pawned it off on the public to vote. They don't have any oversight or anything at this point, unless there's a dispute that gets pushed through the system far enough that they actually do something about it. Everything else is just voted on by the public, who with credibility points. So some votes are weighed a little heavier than others.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get groups of people together and decide to push a score through or block a score, depending on their desires. So I just think that the whole thing has kind of gone the way of, it's more a joke now than anything else, to be honest.
So, Mark, between you, myself, and John, recently you submitted a score, your world record for the single ship track for Galaga on arcade, and I've done it. I submitted not for your track and all that, but for other things and all that I've submitted, and what are your thoughts on it? Because out of between myself and John, you've recently used their process within the past month. Is that correct?
Yeah, I used the process when I got the record. It's a weird system, Like we can talk about the system, where everybody votes on a score, even though the scores are done live. Everybody has to approve and has to vote on it. For me, the process was the hardest part for me was waiting. It's like you've got the score, you did it. Everybody saw you do it, and then you have to wait. And then, like some people, in my case, I had enough people to vote on mine. I had guys like Pete Hahn vote. I had Andrew Barrow vote.
Mm-hmm.
I had all these great guys that have enough points to vote for vote on my score. But other people, usually it could take months, it could take weeks, it could who knows? You have to get the votes. So I think it's a little unfair if you've got a solid score, especially ones that are done live. If you do it live and you've got the visual proof, like for example, Jacob Upland with his MAME submission, you could clearly see his hands. You can match up the video with his hands. It's all correct. You can prove it.
Yeah.
Why are we having
which I did,
Well,
which we did in Galaga Forum.
Right,
we proved
right.
it. Yeah.
The thing with
Yeah.
his score, though, he didn't use Wolfname, so that was the big thing with his.
But it wasn't in the rule. So the rules, so here the problem with that track is the rules weren't clear enough. If you're gonna have a track, you have the rules and everything has to be explicitly out there. So for me, if I would have done the same thing that Jacob would have done, because I don't have Wolfmain running. I got like MAME. I think I have both programs running on my computer. But anyway, if I would have did it on MAME and not have if I'd have read it the way he would have read it, I would have did it on MAME and submitted the score. And if someone said, no, you got to do it on Wolfmain, I'd be a little upset because the rules, like what you said, Rob, the rules are what the rules say they are.
Right.
And he abided by those rules, and it should be accepted. But it's so hard. Like I said, it's so hard to wait to get approved.
So the thing is that the way that their rules are set up, because John and I had a conversation about that, because the thing is that Jacob Upland, he earned his score. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, because I looked at it, and the first thing I got his IMP file. I was able to snag it from Twin Galaxies before it got voted down and all that. But I snagged his IMP file. I had the live game footage. I was able to scrape it, and I put that video together, his IMP replay file, along with his actual live footage, and synced it up. It's good. Now the thing is that if he would have submitted only that IMP file, I wouldn't allow it at all. But because of the fact that he had the live footage, yeah, absolutely, I would totally, with the live footage, that's the big thing and all that, as far as him, proving that he got that score. Because
hey, Rob.
Yes.
Can you point out what you kind of told me earlier today about it's the same on any version of MAME.
Yeah. So all Wolfmaim is just, it's a different, all Wolfmaim is, its main source code actually comes from regular MAME. All of this stuff, it's available on GitHub. You can get the actual source code and build it. You don't have to actually download the Windows executable or the binary or whatnot. You can actually get the source code, look at it, and you can even change it. You're perfectly well within your rights to go in and change the source code prior to compiling it, because of the fact that it's the source code, I believe, is released under 2 licenses for different parts of it. And I know I'm getting technical and this doesn't mean anything, but the software licenses that it's released under make sure that you are able to look at the code, make changes if you want, compile that code, and run the program, the resulting program from compiling that source code. So all Wolfmaim is just a reworked version of MAME, so that it can be used for competitive purposes, such as you can't append an IMP file. You can't, which that's one way that people can cheat. I figured out how to do that in regular MAME, appending an IMP file so that you can basically have a perfect run, just re-recording an IMP file, or pausing the game. Like say you get to a certain point, like in a Galaga marathon. Well, you can just press P in regular MAME or pause it, and guess what? The game stops. Or you can save state in regular MAME. Wolfmaim, whenever you're actually doing a recording and all that, you can't do that. You're not allowed to. So the thing is this: both programs are the same as far as actually running the game. So Jacob, I know, used the Galaga ROM set. So the Galaga ROM set that he has is exactly the same one that I have, because that's where we retrieved it. And the thing is, because it's the same exact ones and zeros, it is the same game. It's just that what he played on was a version of MAME that was not made for competitive purposes. He basically used the MAME version of MAME that was upstream from Wolfmaim, because all Wolfmaim is just a reworked version of MAME which does not allow someone to cheat their way to like a perfect score, if that makes any sense. So the thing is that it's the same program. It's running the same exact code. So the thing is this: if it was just his gameplay footage, if it was just his IMP file, and he didn't have the live footage, I'd say no, I'm not dealing with that shit.
Right. So go. I know this is going a little off topic.
It
but
is.
I think it's an interesting thing. So moving forward, we might be able to look at maybe accepting other versions, and as long as a video accompanies.
Yeah, because the thing is this: in Jacob's case, he's a Linux user, and I'm a Linux user too. I mean, I'm powering this stuff on Linux and all that. So the thing is that it's a pain in the ass to build a version of Wolfmame natively in Linux. It is, going out and hunting dependencies. The first time I built it, I think it was version 201 or something like that in December of 2018. It took like 4 or 5 hours for me to figure that out because I never built that program before. But the thing is now that I know what I'm doing, I can build it in about 15 to 20 minutes and all that with my beast that I have under the desk. But the thing is, though, is that it's a pain in the ass. And I look at it this way. Jacob can play. He was able to record the live footage. I would like him to collect an IMP file so that I can, check that and make sure that there was no altering of the speed of the gameplay, because it's another thing that I check for. But guess what? His gameplay, according to Wolfmame, but according to Mame.160, 100%. So he was not playing at a slower pace. He was playing at native speed, what the regular speed for Galaga. So yeah, that is something John and I are actually talking about as far as for Galaga Forum. If someone's got a video and I can see their hands and I can see their gameplay, at that point, I mean, if I see something off like their, if I see something like where their gameplay, their hands don't match the gameplay that's being shown, then guess what? I'm not going to allow that. That's a no-brainer. But the thing is, though, right, in that particular case with what happened with Jacob Upland, and I get it, people were looking at the overall rules because there are overall rules with Twin Galaxies which says that you have to use Wolfmame. But I did check the description of that track. Yeah, it's convoluted. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, it's not clear, and that was my issue with it.
So it says something about zero mame. I don't even know what that means.
I see. That's the thing. I don't know. It's like, like 0 for this, 1 for that, and it's just like, if I'm not mistaken, I think that they'll even accept Class of 81 submissions from Class of 81, which, I mean, we would too for that particular track. We call it Point Press 31 at Galaga Forum, but I don't even know what it's called at.
Yeah, I don't remember what they called it.
Yeah, and Twin Galaxies, I don't know what it is. I really don't know. But the thing is, though, is that no, as far as I'm concerned, it's rather unfortunate. He proved that he got the score, and I think Twin Galaxies is great with regard to a networking platform, but with some of the decision making and just the thinking of some people not thinking things out, it's like, oh, they didn't use Wolfmame, deny, So
well, the big thing about Twin Galaxies again, because we're saying Twin Galaxies, it's not Twin Galaxies. It's the public really, because Twin Galaxies has just kind of dumped the leaderboard. They don't have any interest in it. They said there's no money in it. They don't have any interest in it. They don't want to do something that doesn't generate a revenue. So they don't care, and that's just the way it is.
So Jason Strawn just said something. So Class of 81 Point Press 31 can have a world record on Galaga Forum with live footage. Yes, the answer to that is yeah, because we will accept any platform. Yeah. Yes.
Yep.
Any platform, and that's actually that's why Jacob Upland actually got his score in Galaga Forum, and in doing so, John, I'll let you take the lead on what I was thinking and all that, because you are the administrator. With regard to other MAME submissions for other tracks, the other tracks.
Oh yeah. For some of these other tracks, outside of tournament and marathon, those are the prestigious tracks, tournament and marathon. So you have these other tracks that they're really cool, they're fun to play with, and we want to make them more open and accessible to everybody. Not that we don't want marathon and tournament to be non-accessible, but we want to be a little stricter with those, just due to the fact that they are the elite categories. So these other tracks, though, while they're fun and just something to do, we don't mind any platform for submissions. Nintendo, PlayStation, anything really.
I think that's Jacob Goldberg, if I'm not mistaken. Hello, Jacob Goldberg. How are you doing? On the Mark Wave side.
Hey, Jacob.
Yep. So with regard to your submission process and all that, so running this by me, because it took me a while. Whenever I got my pole position record on MAME, it took a while for it to get confirmed. And like me, I went through the trouble of doing the wolf MAME as well as simultaneously capturing my gameplay footage and then also capturing my hand on the mouse and the keyboard and all that. Like I made sure that people knew I'm not cheating, you know. Hello, Todd Freeman. How you doing? So, you know, like how long did it take for your score, Mark, to get accepted, to go through that process?
I think it was a good, so when I submitted mine, I made sure I had the footage submitted, which is kind of a pain. It's kind of a pain because it's confusing to get the video uploaded. So I got the video uploaded, and then I went ahead and submitted it, and then I had to go back, and they wanted pictures of my hardware, of the hardware in my machine. So I went back, took the pictures of everything, that added as evidence.
Yeah.
So it probably took around 2.5 weeks, something like that. So, which is quick. I had, like I said, I had enough people, enough heavy hitters that had enough, high enough in Twin Galaxies, like Pete and Vera and all these other guys that they know what they're looking at. So
yeah. So that's the thing, and you know, quite honest, I mean, because I know that your machine's good and all that stuff, and I mean, yeah, we know that your machine's definitely good. And that's something like, I remember having a conversation with Phil Day about this a long time ago. And, you know, one of the things like why Galaga Forum, like why the rules were set up to do like the power on and power off. We really didn't. And I agree. Like whenever he told me the reasoning for that, you know, those power supplies, some of them are very, very old. And you go messing with hell, if you go messing with a computer power supply, the capacitors store a charge and they can kill you. And something from 1981, 1982 probably could do the same thing. You know what I mean? You know, so that the reason why we don't want people getting behind their machines and taking pictures of the damn boards and all that is because of the fact that it does pose a safety concern to the, you know, there's a big safety thing. Now you got a background in, I mean, you know, you got a background in IT, Mark, so I know that you'd be all right. I mean, you would be safe, but my deal is this: I'm risk averse. Like if I had my own machine, actually, this is one of the reasons why I don't have any actual arcade machines, because of the fact that, well, one is because of Colton Blanchard and all his bad luck that he's had with Galaga boards. So I'm like, to hell with that. You know, like I'm like he's like, oh, I've got this problem. Oh, it's got to go to the shop, and I'm like thinking, yeah, I don't want to deal with that shit, you know.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah.
So I really don't need I don't need a headache and all that. So, you know, that's just kind of the thing. But the thing is, though, is that, you know, you going through that process, I mean, you know,
it's frustrating. It's frustrating, and it's not just for me though, not just me. It's for other people that submit scores that, like, again, I think when what needs to be looked at is when scores are done live, and you can say, hey, look, I did the score on this date at this time on this site. It was live. It was recorded. People saw it, and it's frustrating because, like, the whole waiting period, because, you know, like if I would have submitted it to Galaga Forum, I know you guys would have submitted it within like a day or two. I mean, it would have been like done.
Yeah.
Because you know, it's a world record. But with them, it's frustrating. I mean, the process, because again, we're voting on scores. It's you have to get the votes, and it's so hard. It's frustrating to have to go through that when you know what you did is correct, and you followed the rules, you did everything right, and then you have to wait. So I don't know. Go ahead, Rob.
No, I was going to ask you this. So the one thing that I actually hated, and you touched upon this, that's one thing I cannot stand about Twin Galaxies, especially the way that they do like their score adjudication, is not only is it voted on, this is like a big pain in the ass. And I know that Jordan Dorrington recently had some trouble dealing with this. You have to upload a freaking video to their site. That is the dumbest thing, especially when you're streaming live to Twitch, when you're streaming live to YouTube. You know, you've got the video. I mean, the thing is that, you know, the thing is that, what is it? Their size limit is 5 gigabytes. Well, the thing is that, if it's 5 gigabytes, well, in the case of Jordan Dorrington, when you play for 14 hours, that's Yeah, that kind of poses a problem. So
Yeah, that's huge.
yeah, it is
Yeah.
huge. Let's see. Jason Strawn said, like before, when I submitted scores when I first started, I was taking pics on my board, and John explained the same thing, telling me not to. Yeah, exactly, Jason. We don't want people. I mean, the thing is that if you say that you got a machine and the mannerisms of the machine are exactly what we would expect, we're good with that. I mean, we really, really, really are good with that. But anyways, what do you
So
think about the uploading of the video, Mark?
So the uploading the video, I thought, because mine was small, it wasn't as big as Jordan's score. I thought because I sat at my desk and I was going through it. I'm like, why can I not upload this thing? It was taking forever. It was again. It was frustrating, and like basically what you said, like with Jordan's score, it's huge. It's a big score, and I think there's a lot of room for improvement. There needs to be. I don't know what that looks like, but I think there needs to be some kind of improvement to either up in that limit somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do that.
Well, that's another thing too, is that personally, I would not get in the. I'm looking at this from a logistics standpoint, and you actually be able to give some insight on this. So you're uploading the video directly to Twin Galaxies. It's got to then be encoded for Twin Galaxies to be able to play on Twin Galaxies, which means that they've got they're either renting out some server farm, or maybe they might be running their own servers. Dude, if you're talking about like the duration, the video duration of like Jordan Dorrington stuff, and then you're talking about other people submitting their stuff too, I can't imagine what kind of storage they need for that. Personally, I would just be happy with a YouTube link and just say, you know what, give me the YouTube link. I can embed the damn YouTube link within my website, and that'd be good enough. Let's just call it a day. You know what I mean?
I think go ahead, John.
Well, I was just going to say, here's something that we keep saying mistakenly, and I gotta catch this, and even I do it myself sometimes too. Rob, you had mentioned their adjudication method. Twin Galaxies does not have an adjudication method. They don't adjudicate.
Okay.
They do not adjudicate. They don't review them even. If something goes up on the leaderboard, it goes up. If it doesn't, it doesn't. They don't look at it. So that's the other thing. That's the biggest issue I have. There's no oversight.
Right. We're all running you're exactly right. There's no one running on top of it. And I think one theme that stands out to me, and I'm big on this, is especially with IT, is standardization.
Okay.
There needs to be some kind of set standard for like, okay, and we could probably do like a flow chart of it. Okay, if get a flow chart put together, okay, person submits a score, where do they go? And then lay it all out from when the score is submitted until the score is accepted. What does that all look like? What are the steps it has to take for someone to get adjudicated, and standardize it and make it look the same way that way? Because from the top down, when it comes down to rules, there should be a standard way how the rules should be set. There should be a standard way of how the scores should be submitted. Size of the files we talked about, that's a part of it. Just the overall process, because it seems like it's a different, and this is my opinion, for someone that submits scores multiple times, it's a different process every time, because you're having to wait. I shouldn't, like, for example, the whole voting thing, for instance, I'm having to wait 2.5 weeks or 3 weeks. It could be 4 weeks, could be a month, could be 6 months. I mean, there should be a standard time frame where people vote and says, okay, after 1 week, we're going to either say yes or we're going to say no. We're not going to let somebody sit in limbo for 3 or 4 months and wait until their score is submitted. I think that's wrong. So standardization.
Their thing is that you have to get to a certain number of, a certain weight of yes votes. So if you don't have enough people voting, like especially on lesser tracks, it can sit there. It might never get approved. I think there have been some that are sitting there since they changed to that format that still haven't been approved.
That goes back to what you said though, John. Is there's no oversight. If something like that were to happen, there needs to be some kind of oversight, that some kind of process that falls
in. But with them, there can't be, because
I know, because of the
they've
voting.
they've divested themselves of it. Twin Galaxies
Right,
themselves
right.
aren't messing with it.
I
So
know.
they just throw it at them and they say, here you go, deal with it,
Hmm.
because we don't want to. We're not going to.
And I
It's a
mean,
waste of time.
and the thing is that, and it really kind of depends too on what track or what platform. Because I will say that with no, said a restructuring on the front page of Calico. Hold on, Jacob Goldberg. We'll get to that question real quick. But with regard to like say like a platform like MAME, I do know the two guys that are responsible for going through and verifying the IMP files. I to me they do a solid job and all that stuff. But it's like what you said, John. Wasn't there like some Street Fighter 2 score or something like that? That
Well, there was a Mortal Kombat score where they
okay, it was a Mortal
continued.
Kombat. I knew it was a fighting
Um,
game. Tell us about that. About what happened with that.
well, they just allowed a continued game to go up on the board because they don't look at it. So if it gets voted in, it's voted in. If it doesn't, it isn't. That's just what it is at this point. And again, it's their company. They can do whatever they want with it. That's the one thing that has to be understood, across the board. That is one thing that just is. It's their company. They can do what they want with
Yep.
it.
Yeah. I mean,
And
if they want to. I mean, the thing is, if they want to run it and all the stuff the way that they're doing. I mean, there's nothing that we can do. I mean, we don't own
right,
it, so therefore we have no decision and all that. So you're
but
absolutely right.
but that said, a lot of people think it's something it isn't now. They think it's this world record site or this big prestigious thing, but that's not what it is anymore. It wasn't that as soon as it was sold. It became something completely different. It's no longer even run by quote unquote Twin Galaxies. It's run by the community at this point, which it's kind of silly, but you need oversight. You need some
Yeah.
sort of adjudication
Yep.
for if you're going to call something a world record anyway, and they don't have that anymore. And as we know, Guinness has delisted them as a trusted source. They're not a trusted source with Guinness anymore. They didn't appear in the 2020 Gamers Edition, and they also did not appear as a trusted source on the current Call of Duty
Hmm.
game. So they've removed them, which isn't a surprise because again, there's no adjudication.
So this is off topic. Jacob Goldberg had a question here. I noticed a restructuring on the front page of Galaga Forum. Was that discussed yet? Will it be discussed?
I'm assuming. Are you still there, Jacob? Jacob, whatever you prefer. Um, we'll see if he replies. In the meantime, I know Todd's ready whenever. Um,
Yeah.
we'll see what Jake has to say.
So Mark, any closing thoughts that you have?
Oh,
About,
okay. Oh,
okay.
sorry. He just said he's still there. Do you mean the the different scores that are there now, or something else? But you can go ahead with Mark while we wait for that answer.
So Mark,
So go
do
ahead.
you have any closing thoughts? Because we have actually other guests that we need to get
Oh,
on.
sure.
Not
Yeah.
trying to shoot you off or anything like that, but you have any closing thoughts on the state of Twin Galaxies? Could it ever get back to its former glory? What would that look like to you, if I may ask?
So I would love to see it get back to the way it was. I think we all would. I think that's the goal. I think as a gaming community, we want to have a one stop place to say, hey, I've got a score here. I mean, I think that's the ultimate goal. It's not, and my opinion is there's two extremes, right? The way I look at it is voting on scores is one extreme.
Hmm.
Having judges is another extreme. There needs to be some kind of thing in the middle where, and I don't have the answers. Unfortunately, I really don't wish I wish I had a solution because I don't, because I see obviously I see a problem with it, and I don't have a solution for it. What I would like is for them to be some kind of balance. I'd like to see oversight would be great, like John mentioned. I'd love to see kind of oversight. I'd like to see just a standardized process for the way the scores are submitted. I think even though there's so many different games, and there's so many different platforms to play games on. I think there could be some kind of consensus on how these scores can be submitted. I really believe that, and it's not there yet. And I think if the oversight would be important. It just needs to be overhauled somehow, some way. And another side of it too that I didn't get a chance to mention too is there's scores out there that, maybe not. They were done a long time ago. Maybe they weren't educated correctly back when we could educate scores in Twin Galaxies. Maybe some of these scores they weren't correct. So maybe there's an opportunity there to maybe go back and look at some of these things.
Mm-hmm.
It's Twin Galaxies, in my opinion. It's a frustrating way of submitting scores, but hopefully we can get to a point where we can all come some kind of consensus. So that's my opinion.
Sure. No,
those are my thoughts.
Very good opinion and all that stuff. Very good opinion. So, well, Mark,
thanks for having me, man.
Hey, you're very welcome, sir. I hope that you're doing well up in LaPorte and all that stuff. So be safe out there and all that. And I hope that, there we go. Galaga world record holder for the single ship track on arcade, Mark Schultz. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Cheers.
Still tune into the podcast because we still got many more guests and all that. And Mark, I will be removing you from the Facebook group that we created here, and we're going to add, who is it? Todd Friedman, if I'm not mistaken.
Todd Friedman. Yes.
Todd Friedman. All right. Bye. Take it easy. Bye. Okay.
In the meantime, while we're doing that, Jake, did you what was it that you were looking at specifically? Was it the scores or was it something different?
Mark, if you could, because I think you're.
Oh yeah. Here.
If you could just, yeah.
Yeah, Mark, get out of here. No.
How do I leave? Just hang up.
Yeah, hang up for yourself. Yeah. It should. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Mark, for joining us there, and I'm going to see if we can add Todd Friedman here. So Todd Friedman is next. So let's see here. Todd Nope.
We just had a comment. Is that Lonnie McDonald? Maybe Twin Galaxies dispute process questionable.
All right, Todd Friedman. Let's see here. Video chat and process. Add group members. Enter group. Todd Fried. There we go.
So I believe that it is Lonnie McDonald. So Lonnie McDonald from the International Video Game Hall of Fame, of Joust fame, is in the chat as well. How you doing, Lonnie?
Should be ringing Todd Friedman right now, hopefully.
Okay, I can see it on the screen.
Todd Friedman, are you able to connect here, if I may ask? Hold on. Okay, hold on one second.
I just told him you were trying to call him.
Able to join from here. So, there we go. We got someone on here.
Oh, hey.
Oh, is this Todd?
Yeah, I was on my laptop. I was trying to go through my laptop, not my phone.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Sorry for making it complicated. Todd Friedman, how you doing, sir?
Good. How are you? I'm just
doing very good.
Other headphones. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Got that? I will say one thing, John. This actually worked pretty smoothly and all that stuff, going from guest to guest. So,
yeah, I really like this format. Actually,
yeah, it's actually pretty good. So, yeah. So, Todd Friedman, thank you for joining us and all that. So, the discussion is Twin Galaxies, current state.
Right.
Your thoughts.
Well, To be honest, I haven't. I used to be really involved in the Twin Galaxies environment and the chats, and I was on their website. I submitted my own high scores back in the day, and I really, when Walter was in charge of it, it was really kind of a fun little platform where I met a lot of people. And then I was kind of involved in the other transitions of the new owners, and I've never met Jace, but then it finally came to Jace, and then I sort of drifted away. It seemed like the new Twin Galaxies was more about advertisement and revenue than they were about the scores, so it kind of drew me away. So I do post some articles on there once in a while, but I'm really not involved in the high scores anymore. I honestly don't think they're legit, but this is my opinion. I'm still involved in the trading cards. They started out as Twin Galaxy trading cards with Walter, and then he switched them to the Walter Date collection. I still have their name kind of stamped onto my resume, as I've done a lot for the community.
Yep.
So, I don't have anything bad to say other than that they've changed a lot, in my opinion, away from what they were originally set up for. If that makes sense.
What's your opinion on the voting versus adjudicating? I actually prefer the voting more than the adjudicating, because here's why. And I'm not saying, people did this or not did this. It just seemed like the adjudicating, I just don't feel like they've actually watched the video. I think they just click their friends, or they see the high score and they click, yes, it's a good score. I don't think they really watched them. And some of them were like 3-4 hours long, and they said this is adjudicated, and I just didn't think it was accurate. I thought people were just kind of clicking through to get their points for their Twin Galaxy members and stuff. So I think the voting was more of a, if there was such a thing, more of a isolated way of choosing the scores. I don't think they're either very, very accurate. I think back in the day when referees were watching the videos and they were submitting the scores, and someone was actually personally watching all these, I think it was a little more accurate. Right. That's kind of what I meant by adjudicating.
Yeah.
Kind of like what we do now.
Yeah. Well,
and Lonnie, like Lonnie just pointed out, voting allows non-experts to vote on expert-level play, kind of like what we saw with Triforce, where they were saying, "Oh, well, you could only do this if you did this specific cheat." Well,
right.
He didn't do that. He did something different. But they weren't, they were the so-called experts, but they weren't the experts. He's the expert because he's the one that knew how to do it. They didn't, so obviously they weren't as expert as he was. And it's the same thing, like Lonnie pointed out. You've got people that don't know the things that, with Galaga, for instance, that we would know. And the thing there is, you've also got the same thing you were talking about, people that don't watch the video, they just vote. They see what way the vote's likely to go. They want to get their credibility points. And, that's what they do. They just follow the leader.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was more about the credibility points and being on the top of the credibility than it was to really care about the high scores. And then I think at one point, I don't know if it was Jace or the previous owners or maybe the transition, people had to pay to submit scores, like their own money. And that was really kind of...
Yeah, I think that was, forgive me if I'm wrong, because if I am, then I'm going to look stupid. But I think that was when Richie might have had been involved with that.
Yeah, but I think Jace actually did some of that as well in the beginning, and it just didn't work.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if there's nowadays with so many different scores that are being submitted, MAMEs, PCs, handhelds. There's so many scores out there. I think it's very difficult to really get an accurate world record out there nowadays, in my opinion.
So, Todd Freeman, I'm going to ask you something, because this is just something that I was just thinking of. With Twin Galaxies being in the current state that it is, and for Galaga Forum and Donkey Kong Forum also, do you think that, like, for your hardcore gamers and all that stuff, because I would say that John and I, we are fairly well, we're both really good at the game at Galaga and all that stuff, and I would consider us experts in that we know what to look for. We know to look for the B cheat. We know that the main board for a Galaga arcade cabinet either has to be a Midway or a Namco board or something like that.
Right.
So the thing is that do you think that for some of your hardcore gamers, you've got Donkey Kong Forum, you've got Galaga Forum, are you going to start seeing the hardcore gamers, the enthusiasts, or devotees of a particular game going out and creating their own forum, and then they be the adjudicators? So in other words, basically the community of people, because I mean, for John and I, this is a passion project. We're doing it out of the good of our hearts.
Right.
It got started with Phil, who originally ponied up the money to get the website started and all that, and then I came on and because I know how to decode a little bit in HTML and CSS, but the thing a little bit to kind of help improve the site in that way.
Right.
But the thing is that are we going to start seeing like the people within the respective community, your Donkey Kong people, your Galaga people, your Defender people, take ownership of tracking the scores and take ownership of keeping the history? Because honestly, that's what I think I think it will be eventually with Twin Galaxies in its current state.
I think it should be. I just don't know if there's so many good arcade games out there that people are going for high scores. I just don't see that many groups. Like I don't know if there'll be like a Dig Dug group or a Pitfall group or, all that stuff. I mean, Galaga's a pretty big game. Donkey Kong's up there. Like maybe there'll be a Pac-Man group, but I don't know if there's enough very like people that are like dedicated to the game like you guys are with Galaga. I don't know if there's that many groups out there that dedicated to the games, in my opinion. I mean, it would be nice, or if someone maybe did a Namco group and did all the Namco or maybe like a Midway group and did pinball high scores or something and other stuff. But other than that, I don't know if it game by game would be relatively feasible.
Well,
so,
we're
I love how you guys are doing. The website's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I know that it can be further improved. One thing I want to correct about the website, just to be clear and all that. I just had a brain fart and all that stuff. As far as financially and all that stuff, everybody chipped in. On the initial outset, everybody chipped in on that and all that. So funding the website and all that. Just want to say that. John and I think Mark Schultz had a little part of that. Phil, of course, and other guys as well and all that stuff.
So one thing I was going to mention. I'm trying to. I think I lost my place for a second. So we are pursuing. We're going to have. I think Walter's going to pitch this for us to get an endorsement from Guinness. And once that's done, assuming it happens, we don't want to count on that until it is official. But then we do have plans to branch into other games. So kind of picking up some of the slack that was left by what happened at Twin Galaxies.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I think there's enough people. I know a lot of people that would definitely be on board of having their own community and own forums. Like Lonnie would do a Joust forum, I'm sure of it. I mean, he's definitely on top of that. I know he's in the chat, so he'll, I don't want to, tell him to do that, but I think he's something that he's passionate about. He loves the game. He's, it's part of his life. So I think he would be passionate enough like you guys to do a Joust for him.
Well, what we were thinking is that we would try to gather, like Lonnie for Joust, but if he were interested, but like we would gather the experts of each game we're dealing with. This would be a gradual thing because it's going to take time. Get people with a knowledge, the best players, and then people with an intrinsic knowledge of the game itself, the inner workings and all that, and put these teams together like we did for Galaga. Put a team together for, let's say, Galaxian, which might have some carryover from Galaga just because of the similarities, and maybe put a team together for Joust, put a team together for Tetris, and just
time.
Go on through. Yeah, Burger Time, Track and Field. All of them. I think eventually, again, this will take years to do,
right?
But it's something that I think would be a good thing to do.
Yeah, it would definitely be would draw a lot of attention. Let's put it that way, because I know a lot of people have drifted away from Twin Galaxies. I know a whole lot of people that don't even go on there anymore. Or so.
Yeah. I mean, I still submit for Todd. I still submit for certain things and all that. Like I'm a MAME player and all, and I still actually play Burger Time. Actually, for Burger Time, I'll submit there. Granted, there's also the MAME Action Replay community too, which actually those guys take that very, very, from what I can tell, they take it very, very serious. Just specifically for tracking like MAME submissions and all. But the thing is that how I look at Twin Galaxies, it's like what I said with Mark earlier. I think it's a good place to go and network with people, with similar interests, but then we have Facebook, we can go find groups, that, what is it? The commercial where there's like a Facebook group for kazoo players or something like that. So,
Yeah. And, I go on Twin Galaxies once in a while, and it just seems like there's only a handful of people that really go on that website, or at least go in the forums. And there used to be hundreds, and now I just see the same 5 or 6 people in the forums and talking about high scores. So I don't know if it's actually as popular as it used to be. I don't know if it was always the two go placed for high scores, and I don't even think people think about it anymore. There's a small people. So
yeah, no, I agree. Lonnie McDonald said something. John, you want to read that?
Todd, part of that reason is because the environment is allowed to be very toxic.
Oh, Twin Galaxies, yeah. Yeah, there's no filters, I don't think, over there. So that is true. You guys are pretty, you guys wouldn't, let the riffraff come into your forums and stuff, and you guys monitor your website pretty heavily. I know Jace, he's in the forums, but he's more on the esports side of it and trying to get his, esports teams and advertising.
Well, and that what you just said, that is the thing that Twin Galaxies is all about now.
Yeah.
And that's their focus, which again goes back to the leaderboard that they don't care about.
Right.
And they've said as much. They don't care because it doesn't generate revenue. That should tell you everything you need to know. To me anyway, it does. What do you do when you want something so badly? I mean, because there are people that do. There are people that just, I don't want to say worship Twin Galaxies, but they think that this is just the ultimate place to go, and they really don't care.
Yeah. Well, I think also, too, the people that, starting with Walter, and, well, I guess there was one owner that doesn't fall in this category, but a lot of the owners were gamers themselves. So
Right.
They had a passion of getting high scores out there. Jace is a gamer, sort of. I mean, he's in the gaming community, but he's more of a business person. He's more of a person that works with like the media and Hollywood and esports gamers. So I don't know if he really cares about the Joust or the Pac-Man players.
So he's basically going where the money is. I mean, that's just what it amounts to. Is
Right,
that,
yeah.
I mean, the money is in the money is in esports. It's in Fortnite. It's in watching people play Counter-Strike Go, which that's been around for 8 years, I think.
Right. Yeah.
But the thing is that's the competition part of it. Which, I mean, Todd,
Can't blame them though.
no, I can't. I mean, no, it's the same. It's the same thing. I mean, it is where the money is. It's like the same thing. Like, I mean, I can bitch all I want about, like, I'm a big fan of point and click adventure games, like from Sierra and LucasArts and all that, or formerly Lucasfilm, which I don't even know what they are now because they're owned by Disney. I love point and click adventure games, but those games were, believe it or not, they were the #1 gaming genre on PCs up until Doom. And then when Doom came, nobody played or I should say it took about 5 to 6 years, and then nobody was playing point and click adventure games, So, I mean, it's a matter of, you got your passionate gamers in there and all that stuff, but they used to be the dominant force, but then it's just like something happened, things changed, and then that's it, But at the same time, though, that kind of screws over the other people, because the thing is that, with the popular, I think with the renewed interest in arcades, I think you could say that King of Kong had a lot to do with that. I think, what was it, King of Kong, and then all of a sudden all these arcade bars started popping up. Like where I'm from in Indianapolis, we have a really nice one in downtown. Actually, we have 2 now, but I've never been in the other one. But the thing is that people are liking that, even people that are much younger than me that never had the opportunity to go to an arcade in the 80s or 90s
Right.
and see what it was back in the glory days. Like for me, I got it really mostly in the 90s where, you would go, your mom would take you and drop you off at the miniature golf fun center or whatever, and then you'd have your local Street Fighter 2 Pro with quarters lined up ready to kick your ass. You know what I mean? Like nobody knows what that's. John, you know what that's like.
Oh yeah, I know what that's like.
And Todd, I know that you know what that is too. You know what that's like too. But
I grew up in bowling alleys, and that was like the key place for arcade games.
Oh yeah, no, and that was another thing too. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Like
so,
same thing here.
Lonnie brought up something else that I did a little research on too.
I just caught that now, Lonnie.
$7 million, yeah.
Yeah, the money that just kind of disappeared, evaporated. They set up this league, and they relocated players, relocated them. So these people came in, and a lot of stories are out there that they didn't get paid. The league never went anywhere. A lot of money was put in, it disappeared. So now, and then a lot of these gamers ended up homeless. Kind of a really bad situation.
Oh, that sucks, man. Really
I know sure under the Jace regime that people at one point paid for a world record certificate. It was like $100 to get a piece of paper, literally, and people paid and never got their certificates. I don't know if they did at this point, but there was like a year that went by that no one got their certificates. That was pretty shady.
Which, they could have just printed out on a printer, Yeah. So.
$100 was a little extreme, but people wanted high score recognition, and people paid it, and they didn't deliver. So that was another way of people moving to the other direction. But I was going to say too, real quick, about Twin Galaxies used to be like a gaming community, and now it's just a business. It's not even a gaming community, to be honest. It's a business. And if you want to earn money or be a part of Twin Galaxies, you have to be almost like a business person. You don't have to be a gamer, and it's kind of sad.
Yeah. Lonnie McDonald's advising that a few people got those certificates. So.
Once.
Lonnie is always on top of everything. Thank you, Lonnie.
By the way, Todd, I'm really, really digging your shirt.
Oh man!
Yeah. I can't wait to see.
Yes.
I heard Val Kilmer's actually going to be in it, even though
the speculation is that that's his funeral, but I'm starting to wonder because I'm wondering who the flyover was, who was flown over in the trailer as well. So it may be Val Kilmer's funeral.
Right.
The Iceman, but that's not 100%. I guess I'm real curious. I think that's gonna be one of the biggest build up movies out this year.
Well, it was supposed to come out in May, and because of the corona, now it's moved to December. So we have to.
Oh
my gosh! Really?
Yeah, it's December 20th or something. But
that's gonna suck for me because actually there's a remake that's coming out in December of this year. They're remaking Dune, which they really are. They're actually splitting it in two movies. They I think because of the fact that I love the David Lynch version, I really do, because David Lynch is one of my top two favorite directors. But the thing is that from what I've heard, there's so much material in just the books themselves and all that David Lynch trying to squeeze as much content into his movie to explain things, it just didn't work. Beautifully shot movie, but the thing is that I think it's being directed by Denis Villeneuve or whatever. I think he's a French director or something like that. But yeah, it's actually being remade, and it's going to be two parts. The goal is that the first part is they're going to hype it. It's going to be epic, and they're going to use the money made from that to make the second one. So hopefully it does well, because I would love to see that how that actually gets out there.
Yeah. I'm going to miss a lot of summer movies. I'll tell you that for sure.
Oh yeah. So, Todd, any other thoughts then on Twin Galaxies and just the current state?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I'm really sad about it because it's really it's kind of where I started my community, back in 2008, and met a lot of people online, met, people through Walter and Twin Galaxies, met a lot of people in the forums, and a lot of people I still talk to today, and now it's just kind of dissolved, and it's just a shame. It's really sad. It's like it started in the early 80s, and now it's just fizzled in the mid 2010s and stuff. So I'm just sad. I thought it was going to be really. I actually wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to work with them and for them, and do more for them, and it just went a different direction.
Well, hopefully we can get to a point where more of what you wanted to do with them, we can have you do with us.
Yeah. I'm all about marketing and advertising. I just like getting the word out in gaming. I just like spreading the word. I like people learning about stuff, and that was a good platform. And now it's totally not even close. So yeah, whatever you guys need me to do, I'm here for you guys. I really appreciate you guys, all your hard work. And John and I go back for a little while, and he's a great guy, and I'm really honored to be a friend of his. And
well, thank you, Todd. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You are too. So we're got good thing in common there.
Yeah. And Lonnie too is a good guy, right?
Yep. And I didn't know he was going to join us tonight, at least in the chat. He's welcome to call in if he'd like to, or we could call him. I mean,
I shared the invite, and he may have saw it on Facebook. So, yeah. But yeah, we concluded our Hall of Fame process. So if that goes, which should be in October, we're going to have a new Hall of Fame class of 2020. So
nice.
Yeah. So we'll hopefully that's the new thing I'll be working on soon. But hopefully this Corona thing's it's a bummer. It really is.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
Well,
all right.
Well, thank you, Todd, for joining us. Really appreciate that and all that. So, no, it was interesting to get your insight. So, John, I think the next guest are we wanting to go Triforce Johnson, or do we want to see if we can get Lonnie McDonald on next?
Well, did Lonnie want to come on? We got to find that out. And we also have Josh. So let me. If you want to decide on that, I'll address that issue with Jacob real quick, if he's still on. Hopefully he is. So due to the fact that Twin Galaxies is no longer listed as a trusted source with Guinness, and we are pursuing trusted source, we have decided that we shouldn't probably have Twin Galaxy adjudicated or witnessed or voted in scores on our leaderboard, because it isn't going to look well, I don't think, for us. So what we're in the process of is we've removed a lot of them. Some of them I'm holding out hope that we might be able to get some video footage, and maybe we can adjudicate those scores and keep them up. I don't know that that's going to happen. I've reached out to Andrew Laidlaw multiple times. I know there's footage of his game. He seems unwilling to share it. If that's the case, we're going to have to remove his score. That's really the biggest score left on the tournament track. The marathon tracks, there's a lot going on with that as well. That's something. There's a lot more information I can't really give right now on some of that, because we're getting some documentaries ready, and part of that's going to be detailed there. But just suffice it to say, we want the majority of the scores to be fully adjudicated by us. We will keep some of these scores up that are from specific tournaments where we know that the cabinets were good, the settings were good, and some other adjudicating bodies that we know are good, like Arcade, especially the cabinet at Galloping Ghost. We've been there multiple times. They don't change the settings. We verify the settings. They set them on the settings that we asked them to. For Galaga, they wanted to know which track or what settings would be most appropriate, and that's what they went with, the tournament settings. So at that point, we know that cabinet's for sure good. So any scores that they submit to us are going to be accepted. Now they also will video any big attempts, so we know we also can get a copy of that for top 10 scores if we need. So again, there's no problem with their scores, and outside of that, you're going to see a big change on our leaderboard because all those Twin Galaxy scores are going to be dropped off.
Okay. I just reached out to Josh Houselander to see if he'd be able to come on, and I'm waiting for a response from him.
Okay.
Let me see here. Goodness.
You probably could just call him. He's active right now. You want to just try calling him up?
I did try doing that.
Oh, okay.
I did. So hold on. Okay. I don't know if it's gonna. Hopefully, I'm not. I'm like trying to ring his phone or ring him and all that stuff on Facebook, but I added him to the chat and all that good stuff. We'll give him a moment. So that's a big huge thing there, John. With regard to taking a look at some of those Twin Galaxy scores and us trying to clean the clean it up and all that. So.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of support. I've talked to a lot of people about it, and they're pretty positive. There was talk about that in the very beginning. Starting a from scratch leaderboard. We didn't go that route at the time, but now I think it's appropriate that we do.
Mm-hmm. So
all right. In the meantime, so we're waiting on Josh. I've been trying to reach Triforce as well while we're doing that. There any other things we're going to talk about or bring up?
So with regard, there was something that I don't know if you want to share this. This was actually a conversation that we had between myself and John Klinkle. And John, I'll let you lead as far as what you think is appropriate. Why about the witch hunt, if that makes any sense? Meaning,
oh, okay. So I'll just make a couple comments. I don't want to get specific.
No, I'm talking about with regard to the witch hunt on old scores. Basically,
right.
Like it feels like it's like kind of like historical revision or something, revisionism or something like that.
And I think we might have touched on this before. Maybe we didn't do it on the stream. You can bring up your search, right?
Yes, I can go to webpage view here. So let's go to his. What are we looking for?
First professional gamer.
First professional.
Before you pull that up, though, let's see if anybody in the viewing audience, we do have a few people out there, who would they guess would be the first professional gamer?
Anybody? Well, everybody's got Google now, so they're probably going to go ahead.
Well, no, but we want to know who it might really be, versus what's going to show up on this search. We've got two Billies. I have a different answer, but that's closer than what we're going to find on that. Yes, Lonnie shares my answer. That would be Todd Rogers. So we've got two people for Billy Mitchell and two for Todd Rogers. And what year would that be that you're looking at for those of you that said Billy and Lonnie for Todd? What approximate years would we be looking at? No, not the first score. We're talking about professional gamers, like people that were paid to play or won money playing. Dennis Fong. Oh. Well, Joe's gonna. Anyway,
let's go ahead and look it up then.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. We got an 82 to 83.
So first professional gamer. Clicking enter.
And look at what year we're going to have as well.
So let's go this GuinnessWorldRecords.com. This is on Guinness. Dennis Thrash Fong, USA, born 1977, is regarded as the first professional gamer in history. He won every tournament he attended over a 5-year period, a feat that earned him the nickname the Michael Jordan of the gaming world.
And you see that year?
1997. Fong is perhaps best known for his victory in the Red Annihilation Quake tournament, sponsored by Microsoft and held at the 1997 Electronic Entertainment Expo in Atlanta, Georgia, USA. As a winner of the tournament, he was given a red Ferrari 328 GTS convertible that had belonged to John Carmack, co-creator of Quake.
And as Lonnie pointed out, and as a lot of us know, Todd Rogers was being paid back in the I believe late 70s. But maybe it wasn't until the early 80s. I could be wrong there. But yeah, this is just another example of that same thing that we were just talking about. And you've got these people that are just so anxious to change everything. You know, they don't want that tie to Ottumwa, Iowa. They don't want ties to specific players. They just want to erase it. And again, once you erase that stuff, once it's gone from the Twin Galaxies database, where is it? How are people ever going to know that that even existed? And that's the problem.
So what do you speculate, John? Why is this being done? Why is there this witch hunt on old scores? Scores that we actually know are good.
Well, I have a feeling that a particular group of people want to be these people. So that means in what I'm, without being very clear, at least right now, I think that they're just trying to rewrite everything to fit their narrative, and that's exactly what's been going on for a while. You know, they wanted Todd Rogers gone, they got him gone. They wanted Billy Mitchell gone, they got him gone. They wanted Triforce gone. They had a little trouble there. They couldn't get Triforce gone. He had a lot more documentation than they were counting on, and he had a lot of people jump behind him. Now they're going after some other scores, and again, they've come out and stated that they would not overturn a previous administration's decision. That was part of the argument with Triforce. Now, going a step further, and again, I don't want to get into specifics right now at all. Only there's a few reasons, and there's some other things going on that are a reason for that. But if they're going to now try to go after refereed scores that were refereed in the past, no video footage, just refereed, how the hell are they going to justify that? They would either have to have the referee or the player come out and say, yeah, this wasn't really good. We kind of tricked you guys, or maybe the ref might come and say, oh my gosh, I realized all these years later I didn't really know what I was looking at, or so and so talked me into it, or whatever the reason might be. They'd have to get somebody to come forward and an eyewitness, not just any random person that says, oh, I heard this or I heard that. They'd have to have either the referee or the player come forward and say, oh, well, yeah, this really wasn't good. It shouldn't be it shouldn't be in there. Otherwise, how the hell do they have any logical reason to remove it? This is something I don't understand, and I know that several of those have been disputed now.
So Lonnie just brought up something, and it's funny that Lonnie, I thank you for making this comment, because John and I, what was it? There was a comment that I made. Well, anyways, Let's read what Lonnie said here. You also have people challenging scores because they deem them unachievable by themselves. So, okay.
Yes. So let me point this out too, and why this is important, because they themselves are calling themselves the experts.
So here's the thing about that. Like, you look at what let's just give an example, all right? For the longest time, the marathon score held by Stephen Krogman from 1989 up until Sask Vidkid, thank you very much for following. We really appreciate it. Kudos to you. Thank you very much for the follow there. We really appreciate it. We're trying to reach affiliates. So, anyways, the thing is this: Armando took down Stephen Krogman's marathon score that was held for like 29 years, and it was taken down. When was the marathon score taken down? It was taken down in 2018, like late 2018, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Or wait, he got one. Now you're gonna make. I'm gonna have to go look. Oh wait.
Yeah, we need to go to the source of truth here, which is on Galaga Forum. Hold on. I'm pulling up the webpage view here. Hold
18. Yep, October 20th, 18.
Oh, hold on, because we haven't.
I already looked.
Oh yeah, but I want to show people, you know.
Oh
so,
yeah.
Marathon score here. So the thing is that it was on October 20th, 2018. So here's the deal about that. With, oh goodness, wrong one there. So here's the thing, is that Armando took down that score, and a lot of people, Krogman had 15,999,000. What was that?
Lonnie just said he has time now.
Oh, okay. Lonnie, let's see if we can bring you on, because I think this is one real quick point I want to make here is this. With regard to the people talking about them deeming it unachievable and all that, let's put it this way. The NFL, with running backs and all that, Emmitt Smith is the all-time leading rusher, followed by Walter Payton, and you told me that it was Frank Gore is number 3, which that just shocked the hell out of me.
As of this past season, he just moved up there.
So here's the thing is that no running back going into the NFL now, no running back will touch Emmitt Smith's record or probably ever get up to Walter Payton. Frank Gore, the reason why he's gotten up there is just because he has held on for dear life. That's honestly, I mean, it's quite shocking that Frank Gore has gotten as high as he has and all that. He's a great, do I want to say he's a great running back? No. And I can say that because I'm a Colts fan. He played for the Colts for a while. But the thing is, though, is that because the way that the game is played now, it's a passing game. It's been probably about 15 to 20 years since the era of the feature halfback and all that. No running back going into the NFL is going to expect to ever touch Emmitt Smith's record, just because of the fact that it's a different game. It's more pass oriented. I mean, that's just how it is. So the thing is that, in order to give other people,
Joe says get Lonnie.
Let's get Lonnie on. In order to give, the thing is this: do we get rid of Emmitt Smith's record and Walter Payton's record because of the fact that nobody can touch it because the game has changed and all that? Of course, I bring up Emmitt Smith. We got the Cowboys fan there, Jason Strawn. But anyways, let's see what we can do. But the thing is, do we get rid of those records? No, because Emmitt Smith, Walter Payton, Frank Gore, who else? Barry Sanders, all these guys, they've earned it.
I really think a better comparison would be like baseball pitchers and trying to get Ryan's, some of Ryan's records or some of these other records, because they don't even let pitchers play a whole game. Well, anyway, yeah, we should probably get Lonnie on.
Let's get Lonnie on. Yep. I'm going to go ahead and remove Josh here and all that. Sorry, Josh. We're going to get Lonnie on here. Just kind of do this one at a time here. Lonnie, I'm going to add you to this chat here. So Lonnie Mick. John, I'm not sure what.
Josh said he was right by the phone. That's
what?
Weird. Yeah. Are you? Well, let's get Lonnie on, and then we'll add Josh in, and after that.
Okay. I don't know what Lonnie Mc.
Let me see if I can add him to this chat. How do I do this? Add people. All right, let's try this. All right.
Okay, I see that you added them. All right, so
Yeah.
I'm going to see if we can. Let's just do this here real quick.
I wonder, are you friends with Josh on Facebook?
I don't think Josh has got too many friends, so
He says he never got a call. Huh.
Cotties. There's too many. There's 3 Lonnie McDonald's. I'm not sure which is which, John.
Oh, it's the one I added to the chat.
Hold on, because I'm not friends with Lonnie McDonald.
No, I added him to our gaming.
No, I know. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
I got to see. Oh, actually, hold on. Let's see. Hey, Lonnie, please join by phone using the video chat feature. So, Lonnie, I just messaged you within the group that we created, Gaming Feats Interview. If you could join the video call in process.
He's on his phone on the Twitch.
Okay. Lonnie, you're going to have to get off Twitch, and you're going to have to go into Facebook on your phone. And
Just Messenger.
Or Messenger. Yeah, Messenger. And join us there, sir. Sorry about that.
I'm still curious about the thing with Josh here. That's an interesting. We'll have to see if we can make that work after we get.
We'll see. Yeah.
Once we get all these hiccups worked out, we're going to be, I think, sitting pretty decent with this. All right.
Lonnie.
And while we're doing that, I'm going to do a little more multitasking.
Let's see if we can ring him here.
Hey,
Think we got
Lonnie. I think
Lonnie.
you have
We
me
go.
now.
Okay, good, excellent. Okay, so that worked. Okay, all
Let's
right,
see if I can make this any better here.
perfect, right there.
There we go.
That's better.
So Lonnie,
I can put my feet up.
very good. So Lonnie, apologize for the delays there and all that stuff. So, what are your thoughts? Current state of Twin Galaxies.
Historically, so you guys know, and I think John knows this. I attempted to buy Twin Galaxies twice, and the first one was as I saw it being degraded over a period of time, to save the database and the legacy that Walter had built, and that was the primary reason that I had our legal people to perform due diligence on Twin Galaxies, and we established it's worth at very little. as you know, you don't own the database of somebody else's scores. You simply are providing it out to the world, and so it's not really your score. So we kind of valued it at about 10 grand at that point, basically because of the name and any video material that you could acquire, because the footage is worth money, right? So all that they were supposed to have, we were like, okay, this is what it's worth. Then it was sold to Jordan in Colorado.
Okay.
And then it went to Jace. And so I like the idea of Twin Galaxies, and I always have, of having an entity. Its massive problem, though, was from a legal standpoint, it was a non-profit. It was a for-profit using volunteers, which is against the law.
Yeah.
In every state in the United States. So you're getting free labor, and it would only take 1 or 2 people to put them out of business at that point. So whatever format that they build, it has to be self-sustaining. How do you adjudicate anything without volunteers? How do you police the volunteers? Do you have a management structure? Well, if you're going to have volunteers, then you need to be a nonprofit. Well, now you lose control, because a nonprofit has to have a board of directors and has to have oversight, and there are things that have to happen. And so somebody pays money, they don't want to make it a nonprofit, which was what I was going to do. I was simply going to recoup my money, and then it was going to be a nonprofit. But I think the problematic thing with their adjudication system is what I said before is how in the world would I go and grade how you guys play Galaga? I like Galaga. I can play Galaga. If you came and asked me to play Galaga with you, I'd probably go to the other side of the room because I would be so embarrassed that I was like, I don't feel that I have the expertise in Galaga to grade somebody else's performance.
And likewise for me in Joust, because I'm horrible at Joust.
And a perfect example would be like Lonnie knows, some different things and ways to get points. And let's say I'm looking at Lonnie's game on the current Twin Galaxies thing, and I'm saying, well, you can't do that. There's no way that somebody could get points that way. So since I'm saying that, it must be true. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that Lonnie does know and can do it. It's just since I'm calling myself an expert now, and I say, oh no, he couldn't have done that, so the score can't be good, and that's
absolutely historically right, John. Because if we look back to when these games were played in the 80s, now I probably would have been one of the older players that actually did anything on it because I was in my early 20s. Most of these people were kids that went in and they just beat the game to death for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours on end. And that was their identity. Hey, I'm the guy who plays Galaga. I'm the guy who plays Miss Pac-Man. I'm the guy who plays whatever. And they would take time to figure out how to make points and how to be better at the game and what kind of strategy can you use and what we get now. And I can even use one of my games, for instance. I literally had somebody tell me you can't score points that fast. I simply said, well, obviously you don't know what you're doing because you can score points this fast. I said, watch this video. I said, you can score points at this level if you're doing these things. And you're basically sucking all the guys out as fast as humanly possible. And you're putting yourselves in positions where rather than the common thing with Joust, people say you want to play around 2 million points an hour. I can play 2.4, 2.5 million points an hour after you all have Shadow Lords. The key is pulling them up as fast as you can out of the transporting areas to an area where you can kill them quickly, because they almost go like, they're like that. And I'm not just talking about the middle. I'm talking about the side, having them come out around the edges too. And for somebody to say you can't do that, who is a good player, who has good scores, they've never dissected the game to see how far you can push the game. Very much like the Donkey Kong guys have got.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to eke one more point out of that game. I watch them play and I'm just like, dude, I'm like on 3 waves and I'm done. That's it. So how do you get these guys convinced unless they see something? It's an ego thing. It's a I need to be the guy thing. It's revisionist history. It's all of those things. It is what it is, and people do that all the time in the world too. They rewrite history. So I see it in business all the time where people want to rewrite history, and I have to say, no, that's not exactly how that happened. I go, here's the minutes to the meeting. Here's the document that says that didn't happen. So Twin Galaxies is going through that, and it had such. When I looked at buying it the 2 times, it had such a great forum, which is a massive resource of wealth and information. Just pages and pages and pages of documentation on stuff that in threads that you could search, to where now, which I thought was a great resource for everybody, to now where there's virtually nothing there that's worth anything really reading, outside of a few things. And then you go to this, you go from referees who should have been paid, obviously, to people who are non-experts voting on things so they can get credibility points. And I love the way you guys were saying it. Yeah, they're just sitting around waiting to see how everybody else's vote goes. So that's the way it goes. None of them know whether the score is true or not.
Right.
Who is the one expert who graded that score?
Yeah, and here's the
I don't know. You got me a little heated up when I was watching the text, so I was like,
yeah,
like I was like, here, it's just.
So the other thing with that is, what if somebody's watching, and they're saying, oh, they're going to vote this way. This is the way it's going to go. But I don't agree, but I'm going to vote that way too, because if I don't, I lose points.
That's right. Or not vote at all.
Right.
Their other choice is not to vote at all.
But they want the points.
See, and I'm actually guilty of that. I'll be honest, because hold on, not voting. I would never ever. I always believe in adjudicating or doing my best, doing my due diligence, because every now and then I'll go in and review Wolf MAME IMP files on there so that I can get submission points myself. But recently, with regard to he's now on Galaga Forum, he's actually the world record holder for Point Press 31, which what that track is, Lonnie, is the it is
you play all the way through stage 31, which is the last different challenging stage. So basically, you could kind of say it's a very short, condensed full game.
It's point pressing. There is a finite score that you can get on that.
Right.
Somewhere it's in 505 or 505,000 or 507,000, around there. It's north of 500,000 points.
So you're saying every wave that you've ever seen, you've seen them all by that point.
Right.
Is that what you're saying?
Well,
you've seen the likeness to every challenging stage by that point.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You've seen the likeness of every challenging stage at that point. So what happened was this. Long story short, he submitted that track exists on Twin Galaxies, and I think it was kind of a collaboration with John McAllister and 3 other people that got that track up specific to Galaga. And they allow multiple platforms for that. It's actually listed, it's embedded within Arcade, but they'll take a MAME submission, they'll take a Arcade submission, whatever. That's actually within the specific rules of Twin Galaxies. Well, the thing is that he had the video, he had the live footage. He posted a link to the live footage, which, and we actually adjudicated it. It's good. It's a good score. But the thing is, though, is that Twin Galaxies requires a specific version of MAME called Wolf MAME. They will not
106.
What's that? Wolf MAME. Yeah, Wolf MAME 106. I think that's the bare minimum for Twin Galaxies, which it's actually the bare minimum for us too, with regard to the tournament and marathon track. But the deal is that he submitted it using standard MAME, and part of the reason why is because the operating system he wasn't using Microsoft Windows, and he wasn't using Mac OS. He was using what I use, which is Linux. He's using the other operating system. And the thing is that you can get Wolf MAME working within Linux, but it's a pain in the ass. It's a pain in the ass to get it to run natively.
You almost have to go to VMware or something like that if you're running that system.
What I suggested for him is that try it, because it kind of depends. You are correct. You are correct on that. That is actually definitely a solution and all that. What I suggested is, before going to VMware, use Wine, which is basically it emulates a Windows environment for Windows executable files so that it can run in Linux. So the idea is, instead of him having to build something from source code, which can take a long time and it's trial and error, just run it using this compatibility layer, and you're going to get near native speeds, depending on the specs of his hardware. So he did say that his computer he called it a piece of junk, and I'm like, well, you can eke out some performance with Linux because it's less resource intensive and all that stuff. But the thing is, though, is this. Long story short, he submitted that IMP file. He had the video, and of course they denied it. And whenever I looked at it, I'm like, well, it's a good score, but I don't know. Like, I was worried if I vote. This sounds bad. This is to your point. I looked at it, I was like, I know this is a good score, but if I vote on this, I already know that it's going to.
Because the insane asylums already voted.
Yeah. So I didn't vote. I didn't vote.
It's become very caustic and very political on how those things are done. That's not how adjudication is supposed to happen. That's the opposite of adjudication. If you look up what adjudication is supposed to be,
right?
Look up a dictionary definition. You guys read what it's supposed to be. Adjudication. It's not what Twin Galaxies is doing at this point.
So why don't we do that? Why don't we do that?
Twin Galaxies isn't doing anything at this point. They don't even review these
No.
votes. They just, if it gets enough votes, it's up in their system. If it doesn't,
Well, and that's that. But in reality, it's. I agree with you, John, but it's under their banner and it's going up on their website, and
right.
It's Twin Galaxies, but it's being ran by a very, very, very few people, most of whom are not subject matter experts on that which they are
right, exactly.
participating on. No, don't get me wrong. That doesn't mean that many of them aren't good players.
Oh, right.
But
they're not the experts.
They are not the expert. To me, when they did the deed to Todd Rogers, be it right, be it wrong, be it whatever, my position on that was the one thing that they didn't take into account was how many times he had done that live in front of people. And
right.
Activision, the head of Activision said he did it live in front of us, and they wiped it out anyway. And
they disregarded it.
This is the company that created the product saying it was done live multiple times in front of them, and they completely wiped the guy's scores out. Be it right, be it wrong. I looked at that, and when you look at adjudication, is getting very close to a legal thing. It's like a legal term, very close to it. And when you start taking people's scores down, Todd, Billy, whomever, and I wasn't there, didn't see him, don't know. I don't want to say I don't care, but it doesn't affect me personally. But it doesn't affect me personally on a day-to-day basis. But there's something intrinsically wrong when you take something down and you don't give the guy or girl or whoever his or her day in court.
Yep.
It's if you're making money as a gamer, or your reputation is as a gamer, then what is the ultimate definitive line is, okay, you've taken all this stuff down, but you haven't proven a legal case. So
the thing is this: adjudicate.
It becomes probably adjudicate. Read it. You'll like, because this is not what they're doing.
So this is the first thing that pulled up on Google. So make a formal judgment or decision about a problem or disputed matter. I wouldn't call it, to me, voting yes or no is not really a formal judgment. The thing is that you make a decision, and then, especially if there's like any kind of a dispute or something like that. In the case of, I really hate using his example and all that, but the thing is that it's a good example. With the case of Jacob Upland, he got the score, as far as I'm concerned. He got the score.
But if you're making a formal decision, who has the ability to make a formal decision? An expert.
Yeah, it would have to be an expert.
I'm a third-party legal expert on everything textile, cleaning related in our industry. I work in the cleaning and restoration industry. I'm an expert. Okay, if you hire a carpet cleaner to give testimony against me, my testimony outweighs his testimony because I am a third-party legal expert. So when you start getting people commenting, they are not formal experts on the subject. So where do you draw the line as to this being adjudication and being a formal decision on something? It's not there unless you have somebody who's a subject matter expert.
Speaking of, what a great example is, did you get involved with that Triforce dispute with his Contra score?
Oh, heck no.
Okay, so
I don't even get in. I hear about the stuff and I see it and I go, I do the theoretical, hey, why is this good? Why is this bad?
Yeah.
What is the right thing to do and what is the wrong thing to do? And it's always take the highest road you can. Always take the highest road you can, and that's not where it's going. But
it kind of goes back to your point, though. You had these guys that were the so-called experts, and this is how this was all worded. The experts decided that he couldn't get his score any way other than to use this leaching technique. Triforce came back and said, well, that's not what I did. They said, well, you had to because that's the only way you can do it. That's what the experts say. And he comes back and says, well, who says they're the experts? I'm the expert. I've done it, and that's not what I did. And finally, he came back and he released what he did do, which was completely different than what they said. And then they said, well, that's leaching too. But it was deemed to not be leaching. So, but anyway, the point is, those quote unquote experts didn't even know you could get points that way until he told them you could, and then they tried to find fault with that way, even though they said it wasn't something that could be done in the first place.
Rather than apologizing and understanding that they weren't the experts.
Right. So so all that said, and again, I know you limited interaction, of course. What are your thoughts, if any, on Galaga Forum at this point?
I haven't been on Galaga Forum. I would agree with Todd that there's a serious need for something besides Twin Galaxies system that's out there. Even Guinness's current, I think Guinness is, I've tried to deal with Guinness a little bit with what I did touring across the country, rolling joust machines over, and I found them incredibly tough to deal with, and I don't think it was because we didn't have enough documentation. It's not. It's like, how many machines did I play? When I was going for over 200 at the point, and we had to change, and they continually changed the goal they wanted from me. The information they wanted from me, to where it became like, we want a picture of you in front of the building, showing the name, with the machine, with the cabinet number, with your score. It was like, I'm like, you guys are out of your minds. I mean, I thought that was because of all the drama that was going on in the arcade scene at that time with Todd and Billy. And I think it's tinted the arcade scores and the submissions, and it's going to take something very, very credible to step up and say, hey, let's do something that is credible, because it's currently not. And I felt that was one of the many reasons why. And if you guys know me, I'm very persistent. When they were telling me that I didn't have enough documentation, I contacted everybody in the Guinness system, and I talked to every single person. What are you talking about? Well, you don't think this is enough documentation? I go, we have a picture of the machine, we have a picture of the score, we have a picture of the cabinet number. I said, what do you want? Do you want pictures that you want a testimony from each person that was there? No, that won't be enough. And we were like, so it became very, very not cool on how they were dealing with stuff. And I just got the gut feeling that it was because of what they were going through, and what ended up happening with Todd and Billy. So I wish you guys well, because somebody needs to go in and rebuild that kind of relationship.
Well, that's our goal, and again, once we get I'm saying once, if we get that affiliation, we'd like to add more games. Again, we'd want experts in those games, though, not just us, because again, I feel like each game should have its own group of experts. Now, you might have some people that are experts on multiple games, and that's fine, but we don't want to take Galaga experts and have them adjudicate joust scores, because they wouldn't be experts at joust. That would be something, like you or Donald Hayes.
The thing about the current adjudication system that I made the suggestion of, if there's some sort of, and of course nobody did anything about that, was if there's an appeal, then it should be taken to subject matter experts first. But
Agreed.
So let's use John McAllister. He doesn't agree that something could happen because he can't do it. Well, he's not the subject matter expert. Who's the subject matter expert? Have them have some sort of ruling on the situation. Yes, it can. Yes, no, it can't. The thing for people have to provide documentation years and years and years later is the most ridiculous thing I've seen forever. The adjudication system was set up in the 80s and evolved over a period of time, And you can't go back and re-adjudicate something that was adjudicated at the state of the art and the current process they had at the time and go backwards.
Right.
You adjudicate forward. Now, if you think something is questionable, then that person is given the benefit of the doubt until you can provide more evidence that is not than just, I don't think so, because I can't get it.
Real quick, thank you very much to K-Dog Gaming 3 for subscribing. So really appreciate that. So thank you for, or not subscribing, following. I always get the two confused and all that stuff. But no, back to what you were saying. Back to what you were saying, Lonnie, is that no, you can't work back. You can't work backward. I mean, you can only work forward and all that stuff. So
yeah, it's 30-year. Some of it's 35, going on 40-year-old information, which is the point that Activision made. The head of Activision made. He goes, "You really think we kept records that are 35 years old?" So you have to take those things with a grain of salt. It was adjudicated by referee most of the time back then, and then it evolved into tape, and then it evolved into DVD, and then it evolved into live streaming, and you had referees, and each one of those you need to look and say, okay, what was the state of the art at the time? Did they do it according to the rules? Yes. Is there something wrong with it? I don't know. Then how are you going to say that it's not right? Because you don't have the evidence they had then.
Yep.
And it's called when you're making a legal case, you have to have the full body of evidence. If you're gonna tear something down, you better have what's the most critical thing that you have in a legal case. It is eyewitnesses.
Yep.
It's not the technical data. The eyewitnesses always outweigh the technical data. And I didn't see a lot of eyewitnesses in the stuff that's going on. So referee, number one, on tape or stream, comes after that stuff. So
yep.
I don't know. I have heartburn over what they're doing to people right now.
Oh, and it is
disgusting
bad
to me.
Yeah, it is bad. But anyways, well, Lonnie, any closing thoughts? Because I think we're going to try to get going a second time trying to get Josh Houselander on, if that would be okay.
Oh no, I just I was watching. I appreciate what you guys are doing, and it just changed my whole dynamic.
That's really cool that my thing is able to keep up with that and all that stuff.
Instantaneously change the whole perspective of where I'm sitting.
Yep.
Makes me look taller
That's
too, doesn't
cool.
it?
Absolutely. Well, Lonnie, thank you. Any closing thoughts, if I may ask?
No, I think that's good. Keep up the good work, and hopefully you do something that offsets the stuff that TG is not doing.
All right.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming on, Lonnie. We appreciate it.
Thank you. And Lonnie, if you could end the call, we're going to try to get Josh Houselander on. So thank you very much. All righty, Josh, we're going to try this a second time here. I apologize and all that. Got it. I feel like I always have granted, we've only had Josh Houselander on once, and that was really bad, John. Do you remember that? The technical difficulties is what was bad.
Yeah. Yep, we did have an issue with that. All right, I'm going to add. Do you want me to add him to that group chat?
Yeah, if you could. I'm trying to ring him right now. And Josh Houselander, if you are watching, if you could please. Let's see here.
All right, I just added him.
Okay. Josh, I do see that you are added, and I'm going to try again, giving you a ring here. And Josh, if you could make sure that you're on Messenger. You said that he's on Messenger, is that correct?
Yeah, yep. I'm pretty sure that's what we used last time for him.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yep.
Trying to ring him. Are you talking with him right now, John?
I just sent him a message that we were trying again. So we'll see what happens here. Could it be because we're on the call? Maybe I know it'll affect the stream, but maybe if you hung up and you redial both of us at the same time.
Maybe we can do that. Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the feed with John here. So I'm going to go ahead and end the call right now, and then we're going to call John back and hopefully get Josh Houselander on there. So let's do that then. So ending call here. Trying to get them. So, John, I got you.
Yep.
Hold on one second. So, John, you joined, I see there. Hold on one second. I got to get you back up here. Says Josh Houselander disconnected.
Huh. Well, let's try something else here.
Okay. K Dogman, K Dog Gaming 3 says that he knows Lonnie and Triforce and Walter Day. I live in Ottumwa, Iowa. And then he goes on further to say, I help with events we put on here in Ottumwa, and we get special visit by Walter and Billy Mitchell. Very cool. Very cool.
Who is K-Dog?
I have no idea. Oh, by the way, Lonnie, thank you for joining us. Oh,
K-Dog is a she.
Okay. Lonnie, thank you very much for joining us and all that. We really appreciated your insight and all that. So,
Julie or someone else?
So, I keep ringing Josh, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there.
Should we go just proceed on to Triforce Johnson then?
Yeah, if he answers.
Okay.
She's one of the gaming tournament referees. Oh, Josh says trying.
Okay. Josh, we're going to try again here. Ring.
Do we still have him in the thing here? Yeah, we do. Okay, good. Maybe just put it out, and if they answer,
Are you able to connect via this chat? It says it was seen by Josh.
Okay. Yep.
All right. I'm going to try once again. Yeah, it's always an amazing thing. Whenever we try doing anything with Josh Houselander, we get we always have like technical difficulties. Okay. Hold on one second. Are you trying to join via PC or phone? And my apologies, people. I know we got some dead air here and all that stuff. We're trying to get this worked out and all that. So hold on one second here.
I'm trying to figure out who K-Dog is. I can't think of who it is right now.
K-Dog Gaming says
Katie Bride.
Katie Bride. Thank you for joining, Katie Bride.
Oh, and anyone that's in this watching the stream that hasn't yet, if you hit us a follow, we'd greatly appreciate it. What's everyone's favorite classic arcade game? I kind of fluctuate between Galaga and Bosconian.
Mine's quite honestly, because frickin' Galaga stresses me out now. It's actually burger time for me. Just
It doesn't seem to be working.
how about you catch me on the next one? I don't want to take up more time on your show, and it's just going dead for me. All right. Okay, so Josh Houselander is having some technical difficulties of his own and all that. Seems to be the nature of the beast when it comes to Josh Houselander, and because whenever we had him on for one of our first podcasts and all, it was bad. He was good, great guest. The problem is we had all kinds of technical difficulties, and it was bad. So, all right. Well, Josh, I'm sorry that you can't be on here, so we're going to try Triforce Johnson here next, see if we can ring him up.
All right. All right. Do we want to try one more group call where you hang up with me and we do it again, or no?
Sure, let's do that.
All
so
right,
I'm going to hang up.
Let me put it in the chat real quick since he's responding now. So
yeah, absolutely. Eggs and whatnot chasing me. So, all right, John, I'm going to end your call, or is he okay with that?
Wait,
Okay.
just go ahead. Yeah, I just told him we were doing it.
Okay. Close. Alrighty. Now we're gonna. Actually, we want to make sure that, because if we're going for Josh Houselander, we want to make sure that we don't have Triforce Johnson on, just because of the fact that would be a lot there. So, starting a group video chat. So I got you, John.
Oh, it didn't. I didn't even have a call come in. I don't know that it hung up.
Hey, make sure that you hang up your thing, okay?
Oh, all right. All right.
Yeah,
All right. How do I
in the
do that?
call. In the call. So I'm gonna end the call with you. Okay, trying this again. So, John, I got you back on.
Yep. Now he hadn't read that last message either, though, so I don't know if he stepped away maybe or. Well.
Okay, so we're going to try adding Triforce Johnson then. Hold on one second. I'm having... yeah, you heard the call. It's because I've got my desktop sound here and all that stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back on here. Messenger call, Chromium. Alrighty, let's see if we can do Triforce Johnson. There he is. Okay. Ringing Triforce Johnson.
He hadn't responded lately, so he might have got the time mixed up too.
Oh.
But we'll see if he jumps on.
Okay. No, Lonnie, what, just calling him on your phone and adding both via phone? No, I'm actually using a computer to get this done here, so it should work.
Oh, Time Pilot. I like Time Pilot.
All right. Well, it worked with some people and other people it didn't work, John, so I don't know what to say here. Video chat in process. Okay.
Well, all right.
Well, I guess if we can't get it going, we can't get it going and all that stuff. So hold on one second here. I want to do something real quick because I had to actually, let's see here. Try. Done.
Oh, are you going to try it in that one?
Yeah, I'm going to try it here. So sorry about that.
All right.
People, I'm sorry about this.
So-
Just we're trying to get this to work here. So
So in the meantime, back to the Twin Galaxies thing. Lonnie brought up a lot of good points on that, and that's a lot of the stuff we've been talking about as well. Hey, you as well, Lonnie. Have a nice evening. Thanks for coming on. We could have a little more conversation with Katie Bride. So she referees some of the tournaments.
mhm.
What are some of the tournaments you refereed? That's one thing is the delay on the on Twitch.
On D Live, there is no delay, which is one
Yeah.
of the other platforms that we actually stream on. We actually found out about that. So
Maybe, well, yeah, that's a lot different.
yep. So K-Dog Gaming 3 goes. We come up with them as we go. So sorry, I was kind of half paying attention to that because I was trying to get this to work.
I
John.
just asked which tournaments she's refereed.
So John, we had some interesting perspectives here on Twin Galaxies and all that. With the perspectives brought by Mark Schultz, Todd Friedman, Lonnie McDonald, and all. And just looking at it, the thing is that kind of like what I get out of. I mean, as far as like Twin Galaxies being a great place to go meet people and network and all that stuff, I think that that's great. I do actually like getting into some of their old forums and all that stuff and seeing what people have written previously and all. But I mean, we've done Burger Time, Paperboy, and Pac-Man. Oh, that's cool. So the thing is kind of my take on this, John, is that, I mean, let me put it this way. Like, I'm good at track and field and all. I am I as good as Hector Fly? No, nobody's as good as Hector Fly Rodriguez. But the thing is, though, is that the way that I look at it is that there's so much that there's all these like little nooks and crannies of the game of track and field that I don't know about. Like, for example, like whenever you're doing I think the long jump and also the javelin and all that, like how well you do for like each 3 tries or however many tries you get. Basically, like if you hit the first one good, well, the next one's going to be better. So like, consecutive good tries, you're going to have more and more or better and better jumps or farther and farther throws and all that kind of stuff. And I think the same goes for the hammer throw. At least that's what Hector Fly, Hector Rodriguez had told me and all that. And like, that's something I didn't know. Now I'm able to play the game very, very well, but like those like little things, I would say that I don't have the knowledge that he does and all that. Now, when it comes to Galaga, because of the fact that I've been playing it for years, I'm the first one that got the a perfect capture on MAME, actually. Got the IMP file and all that, and it's available on YouTube. The first perfect screen capture of the golden ship. Most people, nobody expects to go out and have like get out there and have like a golden ship and all that stuff. But what I did is that I proved that, I know that I remember talking to John Mightcast about how, say, something like the golden ship, you can get that.
Oh, Renke's had a couple comments there.
Yeah.
He thinks the adjudication should be done on forums, Galaga Forum, Kong Club, Donkey Kong Forums, etc. And then he says the Who Golden Ship. I think that's Renke said it. I think you were Blake, right?
So as far as who John Mightcast is a person in the Galaga community and in the greater arcade community and all that. So,
Well, I think he was talking about the golden ship.
yeah, there is a golden ship actually. There's actually a golden ship glitch that does occur. And actually, I didn't get it. My stepdad, Steve Eubler, he was the one that actually got it. I just happened to be there doing the Wolf Mame IMP file. But the thing is, though, is that the golden ship, first perfect capture and all that, and also the fact that it was done on MAME, which you don't have problems with, like I think, what was it? One person in the greater Galaga community said something to the effect of, well, you can get all kinds of weird glitches happening whenever you starve the PC boards, or I should say not PC boards, but the equipment with, starving the voltage, low voltage, and that you can get all kinds of weird glitches to happen, like the golden ship. Well, with my Wolf Mame IMP file, I proved that. And then, granted, it wasn't mine, it was my stepdad's, but, I showed that it is actually recreatable, because what happens with a IMP file is that it's not a recording of the game. It's actually the inputs. It's the inputs of the game. So what happens is, if you're watching an IMP file, you're watching the actual gameplay footage being played out right then and there. Think of it as like the scroll that you would put into a player piano, if that makes any sense, in which, the piano is making the noise. You can hear it, the hammers hitting the strings as you turn the motor or whatever, and the scroll is being fed into the player piano. But the thing is that piano is playing right then and right there. So that's the best way to explain an IMP file. So it's recreatable. It's definitely recreatable. So the event, I believe. So, K-Dog Gaming 3 goes, we do like 5 machines separate, the kids from adults. So there are adult leagues and kid leagues. We do a point system. First gets 10 points, second, blah, 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 and all places to find top gamer out of all the machines put together. To find gamer of the year during the event every October. So, very cool, very cool. So, anyways, as far as I'm concerned, though, you're right. Like having, so I would go in and vote for submission points, and I'll never forget one game I never even heard of that I actually helped vote on Twin Galaxies. I think it's Mr. Dew's Castle. Does that ring a bell, John?
Yep.
So I should say that I verified a Wolf Mame IMP file on went through the whole gamut and whatnot, and then voted yes on it because I didn't see anything wrong with it because But the thing is, though, is that, and I read the rules, I read the submission rules and said, okay, what are the submission rules? And voted based on what I saw, the game footage, and playing the IMP file. I did all the checks and all that stuff, and everything checked out. And I thought, well, I'll vote yes. And of course, it got accepted. And I have no doubt that score was legit. But the thing is, though, I don't know a damn thing about Mr. Deuce Castle. You know what I mean? But I was able to vote on it and help get a score pushed. So, that's kind of a crappy thing if you think about that, if that makes any sense, So, John, because we're getting at the 2-hour mark right now, do you have any closing thoughts? And while John's giving some closing thoughts, does anybody have any questions for us too?
Again, I really believe that Twin Galaxies in its current state is not anything near a world record tracking leaderboard. They don't have any facility to adjudicate scores, and they don't say that they do. They aren't deceiving anyone in that manner. They've flat out said, they don't have an interest. It doesn't make money, and so it's not for them. That said, there does need to be something, and so at least for Galaga, we've taken care of that. We've got a new comment from a new person, Timmel. Okay, if you want experts, how are you going to pick them? How are you going to know they are trustworthy? Well,
John and I, we run Galaga Forum. We're both Galaga players, and we've put up some major scores and all that. John actually competed in Score Wars back in 2000. What was it? May of 2018 or June of 2018, if I'm not mistaken.
End of March, beginning of April.
Oh, okay. I was off by a few months, but John had actually gotten third place in the Galaga World Championships held at Meow Wolf in New Mexico back in 2018.
And I've
So
also been playing since 1982. That said, all of the people that are involved with Galaga Forum are very high-end players, and they have well, at least some have a very good intrinsic knowledge of the game. They know the inner workings. They know how the game works. It's how it's programmed, and that's a great thing. And again, if we move on to these other games that we're talking about doing, those are the people that have that knowledge, in addition to people that are just great players. We want the knowledge of the game as well, to be able to, instead of just having self-proclaimed experts, we really will have experts.
Yep. So kind of like Tim, kind of like what we're doing right now, Galaga Forum, it's a fan. I mean, we're fans of the game. We are experts of the game, but we're fans of the game first and foremost. That criteria has been done before with old Twin Galaxy Rev.
To an extent, not really. You don't have a lot of the Twin Galaxy refs. They were gamers. They were into games, but just as an example, the guy that came out and refed my game back in, well, the first one maybe was 2010, give or take. He probably wouldn't have been able to touch any of our Galaga scores. These aren't people that play these games. These are just people that look at the rules, they read them, they understand them, and they try to make sure that the people playing adhere to them. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to recognize certain things that somebody else might recognize who is an expert. Again, going back to that Triforce example, all the quote-unquote experts, the self-proclaimed experts, were saying, oh, you can't do that. Well, yes, you could. They just didn't know. But they weren't the experts. He was. And that's kind of the same thing with Galaga. We're the experts on Galaga. Is there somebody out there that has a great knowledge that we don't have on our staff? Sure, of course. I'm sure there are plenty. But the people we do have that knowledge, and that's the whole point.
Same thing with Donkey Kong Forum. I mean, the guys that are in Donkey Kong Forum specifically, I mean, I know for a fact that they know the ins and outs of those games, and or know the game. Get my plurality messed up there, but they know the ins and outs of Donkey Kong, specifically just Donkey Kong, and they're able to look at a game and know if something is funny and whatnot. So that's
And I want to address the second question there. How are you going to know they're trustworthy? That's something you have to get a feel for in knowing people, and that's what we've done. We don't have any doubts about any of our referees. And again, there's really no reason for anybody to make something up. We require video for any top 10 scores, so that takes that out of the equation anyway. Now, I will say, because this has come up, and Rob knows about this too, if there's a glitch in a stream, that's something where if a ref is on hand, we'll let that override that glitch, only because he's on hand and can verify that during the time maybe that the stream went down, again, assuming it's only down for a short amount of time, that he was watching and making sure that the gameplay continued consistently and was proper. If the stream completely dropped and that was it, then of course that would be something different. But if it drops for a few seconds here and there, or a minute or two, they're not restarting the game and jumping back up into a few million points. So that's pretty easy.
And this is the rule about the internet, the 0th rule of the internet. The internet goes down. That is a fact. It goes down.
Yeah. Oh, and Ranky brought up a good point too. Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off. But
the internet,
says, but most of the refs don't, or he. God dang it, I'm getting everybody mixed up now. That's Blake. But most of those refs don't play a lot of the games they referee, and that's right. So that was the point I was just making.
And see, so I'm going to get to Ranky's comment here in a real quick, because this is something I'm pondering with regard to how to adjudicate scores and all that. So the thing is that like, say for example, like, having a ref on hand does help out a lot of things. And like with regard to like the stream, because the streams and all that. I mean, right now, the times that we're living in right now, as far as technology goes, it's night and day. It is night and day compared to how life was me for in high school whenever I was whenever I was going to high school in the 90s. It is absolutely night and day. The fact that John and I are able to stream, and put together this show and all that, with this technology and all that, it's absolutely mind boggling that we're, some days and granted, I'm a tech guy and I know how to do all this stuff, but it is mind boggling just to see where we've come in, 20 years since I've been in high school. So it's really, really interesting. But the thing is, though, there are some things that are absolute. The internet does go down, meaning that, we could have like somebody who has like a stutter in their feed or whatever, and they could be down for a minute or two, or maybe even 5 minutes. We got to figure out what that grace period is as far as, I guess we'll cross that, John and I, we kind of look at things as like, we'll cross that bridge. We'll cross that bridge whenever we get to it and all that. So that's kind of an answer. The crossing the bridge when we get to it. That would probably answer his current question. What about games that don't have popular following? Now, even the games that don't have as much of a popular following, they do have a following. Almost every single game made has a bit of a following. Yeah.
People played it, and somebody probably took the time to get good at it. But again,
to your point, John, I'm going to say this real quick. To your point, I mean, the thing is, something as obscure as Maniac Mansion, which Maniac Mansion, there are no points. It's just a matter of completing the game. When you have a speed run track for Maniac Mansion, there are people for each game, no matter how obscure it is, there are fans of that game. I mean, it's just like me being a part of the mudding community, specifically Zombie Mud, which is text-based adventures, online text-based RPGs, okay? Multi-user dungeons. But basically it's an RPG that I have been playing since 1996. And back in the glory days, we would have anywhere from 150 to 200 people online. Well, now what's left is about anywhere from 50 to 80 people being online all over the world. Now, I guarantee you that the majority of people here have not heard of Zombie Mud until they had met me. Because the fact is that it's such an obscure game, and I will even say that it's kind of a dying game form. But the thing is, though, is that MUDs, how they work and all that, and specifically that game, that version of it, there's still a community around it. I guarantee you that, Timmel, you've never probably have heard of that specifically. Zombiemud.org if you wanted to go check out more about it. But yeah, there are people that have been playing it for over 20 years, like in the case of myself. Been playing it for over 20 years straight since I was a freshman in high school. There is a following. I follow that game, and there are other people across the world that have that following. So, for like your obscure games, there's always going to be a following. I mean, hell, you've got still people that are playing point-and-click adventure games from Sierra. And what was it, the other day I saw somebody trying to go for some speed run for Every Death and King's Quest V. I mean, the most obscure thing that you can think of, there's a following for it. I mean, that's just how it goes.
Even for ones that don't, we have connections with some of the creators of some of these games as well, and that might be an option in some cases. So, we're gonna, if we're gonna track a game, we're gonna make sure we have experts to track it, at least to adjudicate. And if we don't, we won't be adding them until we do. That's just something we're going to make sure of. So then just ignore Twin Galaxies, then just search the web for a game site, and that's what we're creating.
So Tim, that's the thing, is that's what I was going to say. With what Twin Galaxies is doing and all that, I will say this much: I trust the scores on Donkey Kong Forum more than I do on Twin Galaxies, because of the fact that there is an active community that is focused just on that game. Now, are there legitimate scores on Twin Galaxies? Absolutely there are. There are legitimate scores on Twin Galaxies, and some of them I will even say they are legit records. No ifs, ands, or buts. Like, for example, Jordan Dorrington's Galaga Marathon record. That is a legit score, most definitely. It's on Twin Galaxies. But the thing is, though, is that there's also like other garbage that's on there too. Like the Mortal Kombat score that John was talking about earlier, where someone actually used to continue to go.
Even some of those old marathon games on Twin Galaxies for Galaga that very likely used the beat sheet.
Yeah,
exactly. Hey, we just got a message.
Got a message from who?
Triforce.
Oh, let's see what Triforce. Okay. I'm going to see if we can add Triforce on here.
Oops, what was this? Yep, that would be great. He's ready.
Okay. I'm trying to ring him in.
So just ignore them. There will always many sites trying to do the same thing.
Triforce, goodness. Are you able, hold on 1 second. Are you able to join via this messenger?
Yeah, try the call again. See if you can get him on.
Okay, so he said he's going to call it then. Okay. So hopefully we might have Triforce Johnson on here.
Yep.
Oh, looks like we're getting something.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Triforce.
What's up?
Doing very well. Doing very well.
We don't have his camera on.
Are you able to turn your video on, Triforce, or?
Let me see. It's probably gonna use my, cause I'm actually turned video on. I'm actually streaming right now.
So,
yeah.
Twin Galaxies is still there, but it's not the same as it was. That's kind of what we're talking. That's this whole thing right now. They don't adjudicate anymore. They don't do anything like that. We've got somebody asking questions about it or commenting. But yeah,
Twin Galaxies doesn't exist. It's I don't know what it is, but that's not Twin Galaxies. When you have players, when you have players adjudicating scores or have any influence to adjudicate any score, think of any form of sport, any other, that's like Guinness asking people for public opinion to adjudicate a game. If Guinness does not have the facility or the expertise to adjudicate a game, they're not going to ask the public to help them. They're just not going to adjudicate it.
Right.
That's just how that works. That's like you're playing basketball and the guy's foot goes out of bounds and the player runs up to the other ref on the other side and pleads his case. Two refs get it incorrect. They don't really know. And rather they gather all the refs together and go and try to discuss how it is, they ask the players on the court, did he step out of bounds? As a ref, you'd be fired. Like, get out of here. Like, we're paying you money for this. Like, why are you asking the players? And and they make a decision, and whatever decision they make, that's it. You don't like it, you scream at the ref, you get a technical. You scream twice at the ref, you get ejected. You touch the ref, you're banned, and then you're arrested. So like this goes across all sports, all fields of any profession whatsoever. And then Twin Galaxies changed and said, we're going to let the players have an influence on it. The rules that they had in Walter Day's administrations have been changed. I literally like have a whole folder of videos of like rules that were set one way and they changed the rule to fit today. But they don't create a new track for the new set of rules. They use the new rules that retroactivates. So if you do anything today in today's rules, it can overrule a score back then. So it's like, let's say someone plays a game and there's a rule that was like set for one game. You're like, oh, I can't do that because that technique is not usable. And the new age comes out, they go, well, we're going to make this rule applicable in this new age. So you didn't have the advantage then. The person does the technique now, takes your score, and it's legal. So think of it like, okay, this drug on the market is not considered a steroid. It's it's considered a steroid, so it's illegal. So you don't take the drug. 10 years later, new generation of players come in. Oh, it's not a steroid, and they're allowed to use it. They use it. They play better. They play faster. They play stronger. They beat whatever record you have game, and they go, that's legal. Like, really? That's really legal? So I don't understand how that organization even still exists. It's whatever. It really is.
So Timmel just said, sorry, Triforce, we're actually, hold on one second. Exactly my point. Why should the people on the leaderboard be the experts too? Can't be the ref and gamer. And then Timmel goes, in my opinion, you can't be on the Galaga leaderboard and a ref for the same leaderboard. That is why tournaments are now king. That's why most new scores have videos of the gameplay with links. Okay, so on that, so hold on. In my opinion, you can't be on the Galaga leaderboard and a ref. Well, I'm a Galaga. I'm on the Galaga leaderboard and I'm a ref. Now, granted, I do not ref my own games. And
exactly.
That's the thing is this. Hold on. I'm going to address that. So the thing is this. I am a ref. I am also on the leaderboard, but I never, ever, ever ref my own game. The process that I actually follow, it's a very high standard and all that because I'm a main player and all that. I actually isn't that No, it's not a conflict of interest because the fact is I'm not reffing my own game. What I do is this. I have a perfect capture of my gameplay using my hands and all that stuff on my keyboard because I actually play Galaga on a keyboard for Wolf MAME. So it's capturing the gameplay. It's capturing my actual hand movements also with a little bit of the screen also in the frame for that. And then as well, I'm showing, like whenever I stream, I actually also have the actual footage up that's being shown on my computer so that it's a nice, clean capture that can be easily followed. And then, of course, I also have the IMP file. So for myself specifically, I go leaps and bounds to make sure that I provide a perfect capture, both with the IMP file and both with two cameras, one camera that's on myself and then another on my actual keyboard and all that. I make sure that gets captured. But the thing is, after I get done with my gameplay,
you still have to submit it to a different ref.
I submit it to John or Joe Piscitelli or Armando Gonzalez to make sure that they see it. And then after that, I then provide that footage and also the IMP file out to the world so people can take a look at it and say, is this legit? And then guess what? There's absolutely no question that it's legit.
And one other step, I enter it on the scoreboard. He doesn't enter his own scores. That's another rule we have. We cannot enter our own scores on the leaderboard.
Right.
Then that's then it's not a conflict of interest. As long as there's another ref, it's not a conflict of interest. That's it. That's I don't see what the problem is. Someone else, there's no. What makes things a conflict of interest is if you have influence. That's it. And if the game is pretty much self-governed, and if you're recording it and a ref gets your score, there is no influence. Only when you have an influence is a conflict of interest. And this is why, like Twin Galaxies, is like it's not even Twin Galaxies because players shouldn't have any influence on anybody's score. That's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. No organization for any form of competition on planet Earth does that, where someone competing in the score can determine somebody else's score. This what? In the same field. It's crazy, but it's whatever.
No,
That's it.
absolutely. I mean, the thing is that I look at it this way with me being the gamer. No, it's not a conflict of interest at all. It's just that, the thing is this because of the fact that I am a ref, I choose to hold myself up to a much much higher standard. For anybody else, it's not a ref. Like if someone submitted just a Wolfmame IMP file without showing like their hand motions and all that stuff, I would accept it because our rules say that we can accept it.
So I had a question for Triforce actually.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to ask him. So Triforce, have you been involved with Twin Galaxies of late?
Oh hell no. Well, first of all, when I went to the International Video Game Hall of Fame and I got inducted to the International Video Game Hall of Fame, I was planning on just like overall, just like stop the whole competitive everything. I'm talking about don't play any modern game tournaments, don't set any world records. I thought this was 2016. No, it was 2000. It was in the year of 2017, but for the class of 2016. And I wanted to just focus on content creation. But there are games being made like for like the Nintendo Switch. Like I'll give you an example. Mario Brothers. They Arcade Archives came out with like a version of it, and I actually was able to set a perfect score on it. The first person, because they had a leaderboard. It actually has an actual leaderboard, and it's arcade perfect like the original arcade. So you can break over 1,000,000, obviously, but if you want the max score you can ever have on the screen is 999,990. That's the perfect score you got. So when I got that, that actually counted as a record, but I didn't submit it into Twin Galaxies. I submitted it into Guinness. I just the whole fiasco with Twin Galaxies, especially when dudes was creating discords for me called the Legion of Doom, and they're in there calling they're trying to find records to try to what's the word for this thing here? Create disputes to attack me. The Contra score fiasco, the versus Super Mario Brothers, the what else? The 10 choice Mario Brothers, Black Dragon, and blah blah. It's a
And we know what that was all about. They wanted your scores removed.
they
It was
just want
nothing more.
exactly, and the fact that that happened, I was like, I'm done. Like like if I play a game and I just so I don't know. Like for instance, Tetris 99, right? I was in a battle with this guy to become the first person to get 99 star, right? That ended up turning into an event, which ended up being submitted for Guinness World Records. Walter Day actually adjudicated it for me for Guinness. So I will only submit stuff like to Guinness. As for like Twin Galaxies, I could care less about any of my records. I don't care. I'm done. There's so many things that's wrong with it. Dudes messaged me. What was this? When Pete Hahn beat my Black Dragon score, some guy messaged me and say, "Hey, N-word, your score's gone." And that's not the first time that's happened. That's happened, that's happened since the new administration. So
Do you happen to know who sent that message?
I'll actually I'll actually screen cap it and send it to your DMs. I don't know who these people are. I don't care. That's why I said what I said at the Hall of Fame. I'm glad to have gotten into the Hall of Fame because I am sick and tired of this. I am done. The scene, it has too much toxicity. This isn't about playing at a level of like, to play to your skill ability, help push the scene, promote competitive gaming. This is about stature. It's about race. It's about politics. It's about nonsense. Like the levels of the. Come on, look at the situation with Billy Mitchell. Like, dudes just said, "Hey, he used MAME, although Twin Galaxies says we never said he used MAME, but out in the world he used MAME, and his entire legacy has been wiped. Like there was a literal mob witch hunting and the whole 9 yards, dudes attacking his family, calling his son's school. These people are psychotic. And I didn't want to be in a part of it anymore. So I just stopped altogether. I put out a dispute. Someone took a score. I'm not even going to say the name of the score. They know what score it is. They used a continue in an arcade game. Let me just ask you guys at the Galaga forums, right? Can you continue in Galaga for an official world record?
No.
Of course not.
Can you continue in any arcade game on planet Earth for an official arcade world record?
None that I know of.
No, none that I know of at all. No.
Well, guess what? There's a guy who went for a record in Twin Galaxies that was mine. He actually continued. He actually showed it in a video of continue, and dudes literally I literally recorded this. I actually have the screenshots and I have a video of recording it, so someone can't say I created it in Photoshop, where they said, well, listen, guys, let's pass the score anyway, even though we know he broke the rule of continuing, which will force Triforce to tell us his secret on how he got the score. I reported it before the score got officially taken in. They took the score in. The score still stands to this day, and the investigation is wide open with the evidence that the person put in. So I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm out. I'm like, I'm finished. They can have that. I don't care about none of my records. In my words, F Twin Galaxies. This new administration, F it. I don't care. They can keep it. I'll just go with Guinness. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
I got my peoples in Guinness. I'll just go to them. They clearly take it far more serious than these guys are. They have refs. I've worked with Guinness before. Well, actually not worked, but set records with Guinness before. They actually have a ref there. There was a record I did back in 2016. It was a marathon thing. We literally had to log every single game from start to finish, live stream, 24 hours.
Wow.
And then a ref had to come and spend 4 hours adjudicating the log we did live stream with a spreadsheet before I could get the record. That's real adjudication. This other whatever, I don't know what that is. That's just not adjudication. And I'm like, don't get me wrong. Walter Day's administration had some problems, but not at this level. Not at this level. And in order to get banned from Twin Galaxies, you really had to go all out to do something egregious to get banned. Walter was more like, okay, if there's a problem, let's figure it out. If you're caught cheating or whatever the case may be, it's like, think of it like any football or baseball or whatever. You get a foul, you get a technical or whatever the case may be, and you're given a warning. Records is fixed and whatever, and if caught again for any violation or whatever, then you're removed from Twin Galaxies. If there's if like you're cheating, that I remember Walter telling me a story about a guy. The original Gworf score, someone put up a score of 2 million points in Gworf. This was back in the 80s, though. Walter, when he found out, like, wait, you can't get 2 million, just remove the guy. That was it. No long-winded posts, no threads on Twin Galaxies, or this guy who submitted this score, he's an absolute scumbag. You can never play ever again in Twin Galaxies. Remove it. Same thing for Steve Sanders. When he, as a kid, he admitted that he cheated in Donkey Kong. They removed his score, gave him a penalty. I'm like, he already had to go through being amongst his peers, and they're looking at him like, damn, man, you cheated. So he's already going through enough suffering. He grew up. He's an older man now. Bygones are bygones. Those things happen and whatever. He's still able to compete in jousts. He's been able to go to a couple of Kong offs and whatever the case may be. But you have people out there that will be like, yeah, just like that Steve Sanders, he's a scumbag and he should die and he cheated. And he was 16 when he did that. This is a grown Christian man with a family, 2 children, and they're talking about he should die. Like this is crazy. These people are psycho.
Well, You know, being a gamer myself, it's kind of, you know, I hate to say this, but
Hmm.
there are people out there that literally have nothing better to do. You know, this is all that they're about. They have no life. They have nothing else that that makes them feel good. So they make everybody else feel bad, or they try to point out anything they did wrong in their whole life. They might be 80 years old, but what they did when they were 12 is the only thing that defines them. You know, this is how these
Yeah,
people think.
So,
and there's
John,
a
oh, sorry, Triforce, I was going to say this real quick because you know
yeah.
what? Whenever I hear you guys talk about these people that have this time to worry about these ridiculous things, uh, how do I put it this way? It reminds me of the Styx song "Too Much Time on My Hands." I mean,
Hmm.
that's honestly what it reminds me of. Just like
Well,
that's all.
it's to be honest with you. Let me tell you what the actual reason. There's an actual logical reason to why they behave like this. I've had this conversation with Billy Mitchell before, and I have witnessed it in my time growing up in the arcades. I've witnessed it in the Walter Day Twin Galaxies. I've witnessed it in the modern day Twin Galaxies. A lot of these people, their lives are based on this, especially in this age of validation and attention with the internet.
Yeah.
This is what defines them. So they it is not about the competition. It's about their status and their stature within the competition. And because it's competitive, they will do anything, destroy anyone to get to where they feel they deserve to be. That they don't know where to draw the line. So these guys will go out of their way to attack anybody to make themselves look better. That's what this is all about. It's if they can't win at a record, then it's about their stature within the scene. So
Hmm.
they're constantly competing, and they don't know when to give in. A lot of these guys, they set these records. What do they do with them? I made a video when I was in Africa last year, and I said it's not about what you win, it's what you do with it. And that's why when Walter says Billy Mitchell was the perfect person to help push classic gaming competitively, it's not because of Billy Mitchell's because Walt has a personal like for Billy Mitchell. It's because when classic gaming wasn't popular, Billy Mitchell was still out there competing.
Hmm.
He was still making commercial appearances. Today, Good Morning America, or whatever the name of the show is, MTV, for True Life I'm a Gamer, or whatever. I forgot the other thing. He still, and he was an older guy, so you know how that must look. Like, aren't you a grown ass man? Like, don't you have like a family or whatever? But he said, yeah, and his responsibilities for his families are taken care of. But he still has that passion for the competition. He still pushes it. No offense, a lot of people are going to take offense to it, but come on, let's keep this real. 1985 all the way to 2005, name me all the top gamers in the age outside of Donkey Kong, because Donkey Kong wasn't just it, but outside of Donkey Kong, outside of Pac-Man, who was out there making strides to represent classic gaming um, in a commercially respectable manner. Shit, even Abner. Okay, cut that out. Um, no, sorry. Someone said some. Someone said something on my side. He said Rudy J. Ferretti, and I was like, cut that out. Even Abner Ashman was with Billy on Good Morning America to kind of represent it in a commercial light. When you look at classic arcade gamers and the competitions they're going through. And I'm going to say this because I actually don't care, because I'm literally detached from this stuff anymore. What I'm doing with Empire Arcadia, and what I'm trying to do, like, for our brand and our organization, our community, is beyond this whatever Twin Galaxies is. I'm sorry. In this day and age, competitive gaming, especially if we want to keep the retro esports or classic esports alive, dudes have to look the part.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. It's well. That's with anything. No. Like I was thinking about this the other day. Like, let's just put this here. Here's a good example about that. Looking the part and all that. You know, I listen to a lot of music. Okay.
Yeah.
And so the thing is this musicianship, like good musicianship, is not top 40. It's not, because if it was, if good musicianship was, if the criteria for what was popular was how well somebody played the instrument or whatever, you know, whether it's the drum or the guitars, then Dream Theater would be frickin' top 40. And we all know that that's not it at all. You know, for one thing is this, they don't have that look. It's a bunch of guys that are, actually, I think most of them are nearly pushing 50 now. You know what I mean? But even back in the day and all that, you know, they were prog metal guys, which that never has ever really been popular with anybody. I mean, it's a very, very a niche community and all that. But as far as like musicians go, phenomenal. Like you know, if you were to talk about like I don't know, say like John Petrucci, who is the guitarist for Dream Theater, you know, phenomenal. You know, absolutely phenomenal as far as what he can do. You know, he went to Berklee College of Music, I think in Boston, Massachusetts and whatnot. The guy is he is an accomplished guitarist. But the thing is, though, if you were to look at this guy, you'd say like, oh, this is a guy that's got long hair and a beard and all that, and it's gray. And, you know, whereas, you know, phenomenal musician. But then people wonder, like, well, why is it that, like, say somebody like, well, right now the flavor of the day is Billie Eilish. Well, Billie Eilish has got a particular look. She's a girl. She's got that it factor, whereas John Petrucci doesn't. Now, if you were to do both make music? Absolutely. Who's the more accomplished musician? Well, hell, it's John Petrucci. But guess what? More people know Billie Eilish because she is more commercially viable. So no, I totally get that. I mean, the thing is that, you know, from what I've seen with Billy Mitchell, you know, and I've met him in person too. He knows how to present himself and to carry himself and all that. You know, that's the deal with that. So it makes perfect sense because when it comes down to it, Billy Mitchell, very, very polished, you know, whenever I met him. So it begs the question, like, you know, what else is there in the gaming community? And I've seen some of the gamers like, could I represent the gaming community? Absolutely not. I'm an ugly chud. You know what I mean? I mean, I'll say that right here and now, you know, that I'm an ugly chud, but you know,
no, wait. See, here the thing is, no, that's, let me put it into better context because I don't want you to get the wrong ideal, right?
Okay.
The issue here is it's not about, it's your looks are irrelevant if you're representing yourself. But when you're representing a scene, that's what I'm trying to get at. When you're representing that's why Walter picked Billy, because Billy's image and the way he carries himself, his personality, best represents the scene. There's a lot of introverts in gaming.
Yes,
and that's not just the classic gaming scene. There's a lot of them in all the modern gaming. Introverts outnumber the outroverts in gaming easily. Like I'm talking about 98% of gamers are introverts. They connect with people through video games, and they can't connect with people outside of it. All right, maybe I'm going too high, but let's say 80% is definitely the majority, for sure. And this is in the fighting game community. This is in the League community. Best believe that. It's in the Smash Brothers community for sure. That is for sure. Because I've met all types of. I don't know if these people are human, but it's just they don't act human. So.
No, they don't. They don't. No, you're right. Well, what I'm saying is this, like. Let me put it this way. My previous position and all that, I was actually in client account management and all that, and I had to stand in front and talk to CEOs for different hospitals. I would not put the majority of the people that are in the gaming community, I would not put them in front of a CEO.
No.
And expect them to be able to carry themselves and speak intelligently as far as like a particular issue and getting down to the point, you know, because...
Which is why it took forever for businessmen to get into esports. That's why retro esports never really took off. It only took off through Twin Galaxies, that was the work due to Walter Day and Billy Mitchell. And people don't understand that it took a whole new generation. Guys like Fatality, guys like Thresh. It took that new generation of guys who speak the languages of these businesses and understand the marketing aspect of them for them to say, you know something, yeah, we got to do it this way. All even for the girls, Pandora's Mighty Soldiers, they were the actual first girl group to actually push it through to when they turned it to the Frag Dolls. Well, they didn't ever turn into Frag Dolls. They just, the two sisters split up. Okay. And Ubisoft created the Frag Dolls, and then the other sister maintained the original core of the organization, which was Pandora's Mighty Soldiers, and so forth. But they understood when they had their first group, their girl group. It wasn't even Pandora's Mighty Soldiers. It was just called PMS. But when they got with MTV, and it was like, yo, we're gonna put this group on TV. There's like, we can't put a girl gaming group on TV called PMS. Like, that's not gonna work. So they was like, okay, we're gonna just call it Pandora's Mighty Soldiers. It's still PMS, but at least you understand that. In the Smash Bros. Community, there's a guy's name called Dr. PP. When Evil Genius picked him up, they was like, yo, you can't be calling yourself Dr. PP. Like, what the hell? So they changed it to PPMD, which is really still Dr. PP, but you get it.
No, I get it. Totally.
And the problem is these ancient relic incel introverts don't get it. And they think they can come to an event because they're good at a game, smelling like unwashed, shitty bums out in the street, just completely no. And then people go, oh, so you're insulting them? Yes, I am. Because they do not help the scene. They're not going to help the scene grow. Listen, if you want to be like that in the comfort of your house privately, by all means do that. But when you're representing a community in the scene and you want the scene to move forward, that is not going to work. So you know what, yeah. Triforce, I don't kind of like something that's an equal to that. Hold on one second. I'm typing something here. So something that's equal to that. So I'm a part of the. Are you familiar with the operating system Linux by any chance? I know about Linux. I'm not familiar with how it operates. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about the community because there's a major community with that. Okay. So deal is this. The conventions and all that, and I hear about this, like the old guys that got in with it back in the early 90s and all that. They were the neckbeards. They were your introverted programmers that were just into tinkering and playing around with things and all that. And from their work, from the fruits of their labor, something beautiful blossomed. Like the internet that we have today is because of the fact that we have the Linux operating system and all that was used to power all the different that was used to power like all the different servers and all this stuff, starting in like 1996, 1997 with the Apache thing. But anyways, long story short, what happened is that used to at these conventions, it used to be like just rows and rows and rows of neckbeards. Your programmers who kind of like the gamers and all that stuff, they smell, they're weird. I mean, like, they did weird things and all that. There's one thing that came to my mind, which I'm not going to share because it's so gross and all that, with one of the guys that was majorly into that. In fact, he was actually caught on video. But the thing is, though, is this. Oh, man. No. Go on. So his name is Richard Stallman. And this guy is like number 2. And like, during like, he was giving a talk, and this is like a guy that's hailed throughout like all free software and open source software and all that. All right. So what happened is that he was like in a talk, and like in the middle of the talk, he like sat down. He was like at a university, and like this is the thing. This guy is like praised, like absolutely praised. And to quite honestly, for the work that he's done,
I think it's absolutely amazing with what he's done. I mean, he's kind of a hero of mine, but the thing is that he's a very weird man. But anyways, there was a YouTube video where he's in the middle of a conference or in the middle of a forum, like at a college or whatever. He sits down, takes off his shoes, takes off his socks, and peels off dead skin from under his feet and then eats it. I'm not joking you. There is a video of that. This is the man that's responsible, that is actually responsible for the majority of the that allowed for, definitely had a hand with how the internet as we know it being what it is and all that. So here's the thing. You had all those neckbeards and people who did weird things like that in these conferences in the early days. And then what happened was the suits, as the neckbeards will tell you, the suits started coming in and screwing things up. And they said, we don't like these suits. We don't like this commercialization. And like I look at that, here's what I look at. It's very much to what your point is that these neckbeards, what they don't realize is that what they built is an awesome product. But would you want somebody who eats the dead skin under their, from their feet or whatever, eating it? And doing it on video? Do you want them selling a product? You know what I mean?
They don't understand is that the suits are a necessity.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, no, are the suits in the best interest of the scene? Of course not. They're simply here for the money. That's
absolutely. And they'll tell you too. They're there for the money. They're there because the fact is that it is a good product. But the thing is that those neckbeards, they can't sell anything to save their life. So
if their child, if they had to market themselves to save their child's life in a burning fire, their child would turn to ash.
Yeah.
Instantaneously, like, because there's nothing that they can do. The good thing I like about the scene with the suits is this. At the end of the day, these introverts have no power. They never had power.
No.
They only had power amongst themselves, amongst a little handful of group of people. And they don't understand that, like, at the end of the day, like, you don't matter. No one will ever bind you. You are going, I'm telling all of you guys now, you're going to your grave achieve without any achievements or any recognitions. You're going to your grave. No one cares. No one cares. And at the end of the day, like, when I see the stuff that they do to some of the players, like, correct me if I'm wrong, Michael Klug's pole position score was removed.
What?
Was it really?
Well, I don't know if it was Michael Klug or what's this guy's name? Oh my goodness.
Dan Yemnitz?
No, Pete. He got inducted in the Hall of Fame last year.
Well, granted, Dan's got video proof and all that stuff. Hold on, I got to look this up because I'm a pole position player.
Yeah,
you're not talking about Joel West, are you?
No, not Joel West. Joel West has passed away. I'm talking about
right.
Oh my goodness, the guy that made he's responsible like for Mortal Kombat. He did a bunch of video games. He works in the video game industry.
I know who you're talking about.
Why can't I remember his name? It's on the top of my tongue.
Peters.
Pete. It's not Pete Hahn.
No.
It's the other Pete.
No, Peters.
Oh, Jeff Peters. There you go.
Yeah,
Jeff
there
Peters.
you go.
Thank
Jeff Peters.
So,
yep.
Yeah. I was told that someone's had a score in Twin Galaxies for pole position, and they were complaining that it was impossible to get the score, whatever. They removed the person's score. Later on, they found out that, the guy gave up the technique to someone and said he doesn't even care about Twin Galaxies like that anymore. Someone got the score. They didn't even they beat the score that they said it was impossible to get when he told the guy that on the technique. They didn't even reinstate the score. Here's another thing. All right, so everyone knows about the Todd Rogers dragster record, right? We all know about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they said Atari, right? Made by whoever made the game, right? It is impossible to break that score. Omni, Gamer wanted to prove it. There's a game similar to Dragster. The game is called Barnyard. Or Barnstorming? Barnyard.
The other game that Todd had a score on?
Yeah.
Yep. Barnstormers.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like
This is the funny part. There's an AVI video by Robert Merchek. He says he's seen Todd beat an impossible score on Barnstorming. An impossible score. I said the fastest you can get, I think, was like 36 something. Todd beat it manually. They let that record rock. They took down his dragster score because they said it's impossible for him to beat the impossible score timing, because they've scientifically and conclusively got that, which is impossible because you'd have to run dragster 1 billion games to see if that score timing is possible. And then I've already shown you, like, you can just brute force the game and you can get under Todd's score, like vastly under score. So that if you can brute force it, then there is a way to it's not manipulate. That's the wrong word. There's a word. What's the name? There's a word. Not glitch. Exploit. There we go.
Yep. Okay.
There's a way to exploit. If you can brute force it, there's a way to exploit it in game. People say, no, it's not. It's impossible. Just like clipping walls through Mario 64, it's impossible. Someone exploits the game, bam, you're clipping through walls. No, that's not possible. But someone just did it. They goes, well, you can't exploit anything in Dragster. Okay. In the same year Todd Rogers lost a score in Barnstorming, someone found a glitch where if you hit the barnyard, it not only beats the impossible time, it beats Todd Rogers' score. They got that shit down by like a whole 5 seconds now. In the same year, article about it.
Real quick, Timo, thank you for following. We really appreciate that. Thank you very much, and thank you for your comments too throughout the stream. We really appreciate that as well. So,
but even with that evidence to show that it is possible to exploit a game, glitch a game, or whatever, Twin Galaxies is going to remove a record they never even adjudicated, because Guinness's World Record is the one that adjudicated Todd Rogers' score, along with Activision. When you ask David Crane, who invented the game, shit, there's an article on Twin Galaxies from the creator of the game who says, I have no doubt that Todd Rogers set the score, but Todd Rogers' score was removed. Oh, that's the greatest. That's the greatest right there. That's the greatest right there.
You can't. No, that is freaking classic right there. That's comic.
So the gamers who voted his score know more than the creator himself. I have a video. Actually, it's online. Billy Mitchell interviewed David Crane, and David Crane talks about a lot of the games that they created for the Atari was never complete, and when they thought it was good, and he talks about a whole story where he literally, Dragster was ready, and he wanted to go show it. Some kid exploited the game, and he wanted to go back and get it fixed, and company told him, no, leave it.
Yeah.
This is not my story. This is David Crane. It's on YouTube. I posted up on YouTube.
So well, no, that makes sense though, because like I think if I remember watching some documentary about the Intellivision, specifically B-17 bomber. Mm-hmm. There's a cheat on it, an easy cheat that you can use to get like 99 bombs or whatever, you know, and I can't remember. It was like all the fuel you need and all that. And it was asked to like, well, why did they have that cheat in there? And it just makes the game a whole lot easier. And I think if I recall correctly from that interview, they said, well, what it was that we had basically those cheats made up so that we could test the game. And because of the fact that the production schedule was so tight and all that, like I think that game, if I'm not mistaken, it was made in a relatively short amount of time. Like great game too, but they made it or whatever. There was a short production schedule and they had to get it out. And there were a lot of things that were left in, bugs that had to be, that needed to be resolved and all this stuff that weren't, because the fact is they had to get the game out back in 82, 81 and all that, just so that they can have something on market so that they can make money. I mean, that's how it was.
You sound like the story David Crane was talking about. That's literally what he was saying.
Yeah, that happened. that happened. I think that seems to be a common thing and all that with like the games made back in those days, because that definitely was the case with B-17 Bomber. Yeah.
You ever watch a documentary? You ever watch a documentary, The Power of Love?
No, I have not. No.
Oh man, when you get a chance, watch our documentary. It shows you when the suits say put that game into production or get it out for distribution. It doesn't matter if that shit is fixed or not. The Power Glove is a prime example of like an unfinished product.
Mm-hmm.
But Nintendo made the call to get it out on the market because they felt that that was going to be like the next big move. Bad move. None of this is taken into consideration by the Twin Galaxies administration. What they do is they allow the fans, the all but 20 guys that keep going back to the site over and over by logging in because they live on the site. So that's where all their traffic comes from. Unless you're attacking Billy. If you're attacking Billy and they make an article, then yeah, everybody comes on the site. But outside of that, it's the same 20 guys that recycle the site over and over again. And rather than creating a neutral environment which can bring in all types of people, I tried bringing in a whole new generation of gamers from my Discord onto their forums. And this was the time when Rudy Ferretti wasn't banned, and they were calling some of the black girls from my Discord house girls and all types of other racist nonsense. I'm like, damn, you guys sure make it real difficult for us to bring in a new generation to keep things going. And after the debacle with Billy and them attacking me, actually what made me decide to just like forget about all the Twin Galaxies was when a Discord was formed, and the guy Meme Troll literally said Jace Hall gave him the go ahead to come find records about me. And then I asked Twin Galaxies, I asked David Hawkins directly, did Jace Hall send somebody to come look at dirty records for me? He never even answered the question. That was a funny part. He was like, Triforce, I can't recall I don't know anybody. Twin Galaxies would never come after you. I'm like, I didn't ask you if Twin Galaxies would come after me. I asked you, did Jace Hall send anyone after me? He was like, well, Triforce, Twin Galaxies doesn't do that. So I said, okay, because I'm just going to take it as he didn't, but I'm going to keep an eye open. Guess what? I find out later on this year from somebody who used to work in Twin Galaxies, yeah, we were sent after you. Oh, that's what that's about?
See,
so
look,
real quick, I was going to respond to something that got said a little while ago. Fortunately, it looks like he's still in the chat. Sask Vidkid said, yeah, people nowadays don't have a clue on how hard we played back in the day and what we were able to achieve. And that goes right along with that point. The so-called experts now at Twin Galaxies and other places are today's experts.
Yeah.
You know, they're self-proclaimed experts today. They aren't really experts. They're just better than the average person.
Using digital technology to judge analog technology. Because they don't have the skill to actually test it out for themselves via analog. So they have to use today's technology, which is so stupid. You cannot use digital technology to test analog. Like, all right, see, I'm getting upset. Let me calm down. I'm just going to calm down.
Well, Triforce, definitely a lot of interesting perspectives there and all that. And I do apologize because we've been at this for 3 hours now, and it's been really good having you on, man. A lot of interesting perspectives. So also another thing is I have to get up for work tomorrow and all that stuff, and it's 1 where I'm at. So do you have any closing statements and all that stuff of everything that we discussed here?
Support Guinness World Records. Just get out of Twin Galaxies. It's over. It's over. The dynasty is dead. The dynasty is dead. Or some millionaire, please come and buy this shit off of Jace Hall and restore it. Something, please, somebody, or something,
or just wait for us.
Or yeah, somebody. I don't care who it is. Anything that's better than this administration. I'm sick and tired of I'm waiting for certain things to just go into play because like I said. The last 4 or 5 years, I've just been recording everything. So I have everything down to video. Forget about screenshots. I got videos of everything. The whole corruption, I got it all inside out. I'm waiting I am so waiting. I had to actually pseudo threaten Twin Galaxies at one time, pseudo threatening, because I'm like, y'all trying to play me. Expect the Contra thing is what really got me angry. It really got me angry about the Contra thing when they came after the Contra score. To the point last year, Apollo Legends DMs me in Twitter trying to threaten me if you don't come forward with the situation on what happened with the Black Dragon record. I'm going to investigate, and if I find out anything, I'm like, wait a minute, who you talking to? They got me mixed up with other people. No offense to like Billy and Todd, but I'm not Billy and Todd. Like, I'm scorched earth. Like, this shit is not I ignore people. This is you threaten me. This is evisceration. And my man try to threaten me. Then you find the hypocrisy. So Pete Hahn beats my score. No one go ask Pete Hahn, how did he beat my score? But they were willing to investigate me on a record that was already addressed in a dispute and refiled. But this guy comes after me. So like, I just can't wait to when things go down. Things need to just go down so that when it happens, I'm on some King Jong-un shit. I'm just dropping nukes everywhere. And just scorch earth,
Well,
man.
you know, as we all know, somebody took it upon themselves to release private emails between you and another person at Twin Galaxies. So, you know, I had no problem releasing emails between myself and another person at Twin Galaxies.
I don't know. That was so stupid for them to release the private email between me and David Hawkset. Because I'm like, I was doing David Hawkset a favor by just keeping it private. But
Right.
nothing in that email does anything again. In fact, sadly, everything in that email shows how bad Twin Galaxies is.
Yeah.
Twin Galaxies cannot defend scores. This infrastructure is not built to defend scores. It's built to remove them. It doesn't defend any score. Any score you've set, someone can just dispute your score. They don't even need a valid reason. They could just dispute your score, and your score stays literally perpetually in limbo, forever disputed. My Contra score is a prime example. They said we find no evidence that Triforce has cheated, but we're going to leave this dispute open for infinity. What?
Yeah, that's
What?
just
That is
ridiculous.
so stupid. I mean, that really is.
You found no evidence. Let my score rock. Nah, we're going to leave it open. I'm out. I was like, I'm out of here. I was like, I am so out of here.
Oh.
They can keep it. I don't care. They can have it. It's not that important. Look, the records were only made. I only did the records to propel me to a position where I can use my experience and my expertise in gaming to help build infrastructures for gaming via communities, via industries, etc. globally. My newest work is in Africa. As Reggie Fils-Aimé said, former president of Nintendo, Triforce is a force for gaming in its communities and industries, because I've worked with him. And that's the whole purpose of getting these records, to put you in a position where you can actually help push the scene forward. A lot of these guys, they're not doing the records for that. They're doing the records for their own
Self-interest, yeah.
self-interest and glory. I'm the record holder in this. I have the greatest in that. I'm the man. And I'm like, okay, and what are you doing with it? I'm the man. That's it. So it's like, all right, this is whack.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well-
I'm gonna end on that, so you can close up.
Sure. Well,
All right, well,
Triforce,
thanks for coming on. Yeah.
yeah, thank you very much. Definitely a lot of good insights and good commentary on that. So we really appreciate it and all that. So thank you for joining us there. So take care and good luck in your endeavors and all that. So we really appreciate you being on. So thank
I
you.
appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right.
bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So everybody, that's we're rounding that up. That was a very good episode right there. Over 3 hours long. We had many good guests and all that. And thank you again for those that tuned in and all that, to the 14 viewers that are out there on Twitch, and hopefully we got some other viewers out in other platforms too. Thank you very much for tuning in. And if you haven't followed yet, please give us a follow and all that. John and I were trying to stream, have a podcast, probably not this long, every Wednesday and all that. So, Epic Steve says that one guy kind of sounds like Moist Critical, laugh out loud. So anyways, that was Triforce Johnson, holds many records and all that in gaming and all that. So, John, do you have any closing remarks?
No, I think we did pretty good on this one.
So, anyways, we have a Facebook group for Gaming Feats. So check us out there if you want to connect with us.
Oh, do you have that screen?
What screen for Facebook? The Facebook group,
links, or the
not
the URLs.
Not immediately available right now. No. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my apologies, but all right. So yeah, sorry about that. I should have been more prepared for that. But anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Everybody have a wonderful evening. John, if you could stay on. No, we actually don't have an Instagram, Epic Steve. We apologize. We just have.
We need to make an Instagram. That can be one of our future little endeavors.
Right. So, anyways, everybody have a wonderful evening. John, if you could still stay on, and I'll let you know when we're clear. Everybody have a wonderful night, everybody.